Neons of pride may disappear. Remains of past caress my ears. Placed before the height of 1,000 words. A soul would guide along as my steps run clear. Far beneath these lands, there's a voice that calls, reminisce our fate. Oh, how too long when hunger stands, when the tears run dry as my guilt commands. Is my heart in vain? Would I still be safe? Will you know my name as I should? Falling as I should.
Okay, let me see if this is not too fucking scuffed. Hi! Hi, welcome. Damn. I honestly have no clue where to begin this. It's kind of crazy. Hi, how's everyone doing? How's everyone enjoying the music, the story, you know? Obviously very heavy kind of story, let's call it that, you know? Yeah, it's been kind of crazy, you know, being part of this. It's, I don't know, kind of unreal, you know? When I started working on this, I think it was back in May for me, something like that. I did not expect to be doing this. It's kind of wild. Damn. Some familiar faces, some people, you know, coming from Vox's kindreds. It's really nice to see you guys around. Damn. Hello. I hope everyone is doing well. Not too crushed by the very, very bittersweet, more bitter than sweet, story. Yeah, you know, Vox's story. Damn. Already people being super sweet. Oh my god. I don't know how to handle that shit. But thank you, really. Some of you guys are newer, but no, it's really nice to see you guys around. I hope whatever input I can have, you know, on the music, on the themes, on whatever, is gonna be somewhat interesting to you guys. Damn. I really appreciate you guys. It's, how would I say that? It was my first time taking on a project of that size, you know? I'm kind of used to one-time tracks and whatnot, So I guess it's much easier to handle things that way. But creating like a whole kind of sound universe around a project like that is it's kind of wild to think about. And how would I say that? I still question myself sometimes about that sort of stuff, but I'm extremely fucking proud of the people that helped me, you know, put that story into music. Yeah, I feel like if you mess up the music for this sort of, you know, storytelling purpose, it can really fuck up the vibe real bad. So I was pretty terrified of that, but thankfully, you know, Vox had a very, very deep story to tell, and thankfully he was also, you know, great at directing me towards what he felt was right or wrong for that project. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry if I like can't really catch on chat like all of you guys, but I genuinely do, you know, appreciate every single one of you guys. I was kind of looking at people replying to the Q&A thing, and it was really interesting because people had like very different type of questions regarding the process, the people involved, the themes, the inspirations, or more technical stuff like leitmotifs, stuff like that and whatnot. It was very interesting. So I did reply to some people already, but we can go back to some questions. I was wondering what you guys thought. Should I just grab questions that I already, you know, have on the side on my screen and stuff? Or would you like me to like reply to whatever you guys have in chat first? I'm fine with anything personally. I can spend a hot minute on that. Both? Yeah, I can do both. Do you have a priority order? Yeah, mix of both? Yeah, sure. Questions you have, then chat questions. Could do both. Screen first, then chat. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I'll start with what I have on screen. And we can grab you guys' questions at any point afterwards. Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Okay. Let me see. Where did I put my shit? Where is that? Questions. Okay. I have my little Twitter thing over there. Okay. Let me just refresh that so I don't miss anything. But yeah, we can start out. If, again, you guys have anything in mind while I'm talking about certain thing, or you want precisions or anything like that, I would be more than happy to, you know, dive a bit deeper into that. I don't have any time limit this time, so I can spend a couple hours at least. But I'm gonna try not going too much into like tangents and whatnot, just so I don't bore you guys. Okay, let's see. Oh, we had Tihi asking about the signification of the titles for the soundtrack. And that's going to be interesting because the titles went through some changes quite a bit. Because I had a first line. Oh, it's you, Tihi in chat. Hi. I hope you're doing good. Yeah, when I came up with some random titles at first, it was not like super necessarily deep thought titles, and I'm very well known to be terrible at naming things, so I was very happy when, you know, Vox kind of reworked a bunch of titles for, you know, good reasons, very good reasons. But I can try to give, you know, a little rundown of what these titles are about. So yeah, we can check that right away. I guess, you know, some of them are more obvious than not, so I'm gonna be going pretty fast through some of them just so I don't, you know, go on tangents. First one, The Demon Hungers, you know, screen title, you want like an opening screen kind of track, so very ambient stuff. It's really just meant for the opening and presenting the project, I guess. So this one is pretty straightforward. Awakening, same things. It's a scene where, you know, Vox awakens after, you know, the very long and tedious and horrific battle, right? In that cavern near the ocean, so pretty straightforward as well. Fangs, pretty straightforward as well. It's the wolves that Vox is met with when going nearby the family's house, so pretty straightforward as well. Second son, how would I say that? I don't want to... Well, it's not really spoiling at this point, but I feel like it would be nice for some people to watch the project again if they didn't catch on that. So there's a good reason why this track is called that way, and I feel like it would be a waste for me to explain that, but rather watch that story again to look at some details a bit more closely and try to see if you missed something specific. Yeah. For the fifth one, Unchanging, I did not choose that title either. I thought it was a really good title because it feels like a very, how would I say that? It feels like things are at peace, I guess. You know, unchanging, it's static, it's reassuring, there's a feeling of stability. That's how I interpret it. Maybe I could be wrong, but that's how I see it. The Mountain Wells. The Mountain Wells is a reference to how the older character calls the wild boars, you know? Obviously, for people to be able to eat them because of the famous regulation, you know, you're not allowed to eat four-legged animals. So he called them whales instead, just so you can have like a good meal. That's pretty cool. Memories of Winter. This one was a bit of a, how would I say that? It was not like complex or anything. I guess it was just a good reminder of how tough winters have been for the family as a whole, you know, through plagues, through having to find a new place because they had nothing. I guess it's a strong reminder of, you know, the fact that they're in a very poor and dangerous situation when you think about it. When you look at what they're eating, the place they live in, etc., it's like they're living in actual poverty, right? They're living meal after meal. They don't have anything really planned on the long term. And I guess it's just a good reminder of that. A little longer, that's from what Vox says to the family, you know. He decides to stay just a little longer. Probably because, you know, he felt at peace in the moment. That's how I see it personally. Good intentions. Good intentions. I'm pretty sure it's the scene where he encounters Jiro's mother while she's feeding the monkey, right? And he tells her that, you know, good intentions aren't a waste. Very nice scene. I really like that one. Because, you know, he explains a lot of stuff. And I guess he projects a bit with the monkey, which is kind of weird to say, but it's still, when you look at the movie, it does make a lot of sense. I don't wish to be alone. Very straightforward as well. It's that scene. Food, very straightforward as well. You know, I'm not gonna explain this one necessarily. The Man from Oma. So that's definitely, you know, a rundown of. Please let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm still haven't caught up with the whole lore. I'm very familiar with what happens during the movie, but some of the old characters I'm still not quite on point with. So if I remember well, it should be fuck, what's his name? Yeah, the Shogun's name, if I'm not wrong. But please take this with a huge grain of salt, because, yeah, Tokugawa. Yeah, thank you. Unless it's... You know what, honestly, I'm not too sure about this one, because I don't want to say stupid shit. this one, I didn't choose the title either. Yeah, okay. But I'm gonna say I'm iffy on that one. I don't want to say anything too stupid. Found You. Found You, I guess it's a very good way of having that sort of childish way of playing hide and seek, you know, like Found You. But also, it's a mix of that and the horror behind the fact that Vox wanted to get as far away as possible from Jiro on that moment to avoid touching him, right? To avoid harming him. So that's pretty much it. The Demon Devours, I feel like that's pretty straightforward as well, you know? We tried to go with a very tragic, bittersweet sound on these two. You know, kind of a very solemn vibe. Definitely, you know, not the kind of experience that I wish anyone to experience during their whole life, but unfortunately some stuff happens, and yeah, I hope I was able to, you know, put enough feeling into that one. Yeah, the previous section, very creepy, very creepy. And that just shows how intense things felt for Vox at that moment, right? It's kind of crazy to think about. I still, you know, I try to portray it as much as I could, but I don't think it will ever, like, be the equivalent of the actual experience. It can't. It just can't. This Burden Forever Yours. So this track was actually the one made by Unit Zero. Unit Zero, who's a wonderful music producer, songwriter, etc. So let me just put his stuff right here while I'm at it. Unit Zero, wonderful guy, amazing musician, amazing producer. Please check out his stuff if you can. I'm gonna, you know, talk about people that worked on the tracks and whatnot here and there. So if you get a chance, it would be awesome if you could, like, give them a little love. But yeah, he was in charge of that track. So I'm maybe not gonna talk too much about this one, just because, you know, I don't want to say absolutely dumb shit about it. Let me see. Fallen, the last credits track. I guess I wanted to portray, you know, the state of Vox that pretty much lost everything. It's like having to climb this mountain of guilt, right? And you need to not only live on, like, you don't really have a choice. Well, maybe there's a choice, but there's this fear of dying, which is very human. You know, it's very paradoxical, and I think that's also the beauty of I guess the story, you know? Like, you want to cherish humanity so bad, but all you can do is cause this sort of harm on a physical form, right? So yeah, it's the state of a man that lost everything on that spot. It's, yeah. I tried to make it, I guess, as bittersweet and intense as possible. You know, it starts slowly. It's kind of a very lingering pain at first that kind of bursts towards the middle end-ish. And yeah, it's something you will have to live on with forever, and it's pretty terrible to think about. It's, yeah, pretty fucking sad. Yeah. For the bonus tracks, I didn't actually put too much thought into the titles themselves, because oftentimes these were beginning of drafts and whatnot that I sent to Vox to see if it would match the storyline, and it wouldn't necessarily quite match. So these titles, I wouldn't give them too much importance. It was mostly, I would say, context titles rather than actually in-depth titles, at least for me. Again, a lot, and when I say a lot, it's a lot of these tracks were named by Vox, so what I'm saying here is my own interpretation of stuff most of the time. So if you want an actual rundown of the titles and whatnot, I think the best thing would be to ask him directly, you know? His story, his themes, his interpretation matters first before anything. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. We could still roughly tell about where they would be. A lot came across, even if they ended up not being included in the actual film. Yeah, some of them, you know, there was replacements and whatnot. So obviously, you know, some of them were put aside and less thought about afterwards. So as much as I was very happy working on them, we kind of, you know, just left them on the side for a bit. But I'm still very glad you guys are getting to hear them. Does humanity mean human race or the quality of humanity? It's definitely the quality of humanity, because I don't think the human race matters as much as the quality of humanity in this story, right? When you think about what Vox is going through, there's never, well, there is a question about nature, right? But it's never, how would I say that? Of course, there's this huge difference, but I feel like during most of how he tells his story, it's mostly about the quality rather than the race, if that makes sense. Yeah. Of course, you know, again, there's this big rift at some point, but even then, I would still say it's more about the quality. Let's see. Vox once mentioned that for one part, you want to do something that's really you, and put a lot of yourself to it. He said you're hyperfixated like 6 hours and made a banger. Which piece of music is it? What is the you put in it? Like your own music style or understanding to the story? First of all, thank you, Olivia, for the comment and for the super sweet message right there. If I remember well, that track was the credits track, because basically Vox is great with directing, right, what he wants to do. So he sends me a lot of reference in terms of music, themes and whatnot, and he had this reference planned, right, for the credits track. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, we can't just end this story with like a regular track, right? We had to go full on in and have some vocals on it. Vocals, which were made by the wonderful only Riemann. Riemann, again, wonderful producer, songwriter, vocalist. If you check his personal stuff, it's very different from what you would expect after listening to Fallen, but he's absolutely insane with what he does, and I'm sure some of you guys will be very, very, you know, pleased with listening to his stuff. It's, again, very different, but 100% worth it to have a check. But yeah, I would say it's the credits piece, because at some point I was just telling Vox, like, yeah, maybe we should go like all in just to make people understand how impactful this experience was for him. And from there, you know, leaving people with a lingering feeling of bittersweetness through that sort of track would be probably the way to go in that sense. Yeah. Oh yeah, he absolutely knew what he wanted from the start. He contacted me a while ago, already sending me references, ideas, whatnot. He already had like a whole playlist of references planned, actually. So from there, it was very easy to work with him because of that fact. Like, we don't need to noodle around, figure out things for hours. It's mostly like, okay, we know what sort of direction we want to go into to tell that story. So from there, you just need to follow that line, but the great thing about that is that he trusted me enough as a musician, as a producer, to kind of go sideways sometimes and maybe think about certain things that weren't necessarily implemented into the references as is. What is the you put in it, like your own music style or understanding to the story? That's a good question. I would say when it comes to me as a person, I'm built out of many inspirations from artists that I love. I'm built out of my own experience. I'm built out of things like these, right? And I guess at this point, there is of course the me side of things that wants to tell Vox's story, right? But there's also the me that empathizes with people. Like, if you put yourself, like, for a second in his boots, you need to kind of feel the feels, you know? Kind of sit down for a second and be like, oh fuck, how would I feel in this sort of situation? Of course it's impossible, you know, as a silly dude myself that has only lived through, you know, a couple years. Obviously I won't understand that level of pain, of loss, of anything like that. But if you do stop yourself a bit and think about it for a second, yeah, you can put a lot of yourself, your own feelings towards the situation, even if you didn't experience it. So I would say, yeah, one part is me trying to put myself in Vox's boots. The second one would be inspirations. And on that end, I would say Fallen was heavily inspired by Kevin Penkin. Kevin Penkin, who's an absolutely great composer, producer, etc. That has been doing some wonderful work for Made in Abyss. That's what people know him mostly for, but he also did stuff like The Shield Hero, Florence, and whatnot. I can see people in the chat enjoying Kevin Penkin as well. Yeah. If you don't know about his work, I would highly recommend listening to Made in Abyss's soundtrack, just because, well, I personally think it's one of his best work. So, yeah, highly recommend. Someone in chat was like, I don't know, is the question that has been asked already? Am I late to the stream, but will the lyrics for Fallen be released? Well, we can talk about this right now, actually, because we were on the topic. Here. That's, I saw that question on Twitter at some point. I just wrote that doc really quickly, so what I'm gonna do is open that doc to everyone, because it's really not a problem at all. I'll put the link right here, so you guys can access it as you wish, no problem at all. And yeah, I hope you'll enjoy, you know, my little writing session. It was hard to write this, but thankfully once I started, you know, a couple sentences, I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. It was trying to put, again, myself as much as possible in the shoes of Vox, yeah. I hope this can help. Yeah, no worries. I'm happy to share. I hope, you know, the lyrics and whatnot will make sense to you guys. But yeah, please let me know how you feel about it, you know? I would be actually very curious. I tried to make it as accurate as possible to how someone would feel in that situation, but it's definitely hard, you know? That sort of event never quite happens to anyone, so you gotta sit down and think about it. The ending part of this Burden Forever Yours reminds me of Oppenheimer trailer soundtrack. Is it inspired by that? It's so fascinating to see the parallel here. Very interesting question. So as I was saying earlier, this is not the track that I produced, but Unit Zero did, which is, again, fantastic producer, songwriter, etc. And to answer your question though, yes, it was one of the reference that was given for that track. I don't know how much I can say about it, because again, I'm not the producer for this track, that was Unit Zero. But you're completely right. Nice catch on that. Okay, let's keep it up. Did you write the lyrics for the song Fallen? It's really beautiful. Thank you. Also, will there be a lyric version of it in the future? That's let's start by the start. Did you write the lyrics? Yes. Will there be your lyric version of it in the future? That's a good question. I could ask. I could check it out. I'm definitely not against it. I just need permission, or maybe Vox can post it himself. You know. Not too sure, but we'll figure it out. If I may, what major genres soundtracks were reflected in the reference he sent? I would say a lot of orchestral ambient songs. So stuff from The Revenant, The Witch, The Well. Let me have a look real quick. I'll just open the stuff he sent me. Yeah, so we have The Revenant, The Well, The Witch, The Lord of the Rings, God of War, Death Note even at times, Oppenheimer. Wow, how surprising. Yeah. The lyrics are beautifully written. Thank you. Ah, let's go. Honestly, lyric writing is one of my... I love it, but I find it very hard. Because, well, when you write for someone else than you, you have to put yourself in their shoes, or else it's not gonna sound genuine at all. So, yeah, you need to really closely think about their situation, their feelings and whatnot, and hopefully make it match with how they felt on the moment. I've only been doing songwriting for like 2.5 years or something, so honestly it's still something I really need to work on, and it's kind of terrifying when I need to do this as a work request. Riman's vocals go hard? Absolutely. I love this dude. He is so fucking cool. I appreciate the compliments. Sorry, I'm terrible at taking them, but I really do appreciate that. I don't know if you know Winter Ice, but whenever I hear those open intervals at stepping pace, I think of the organ grinder. Oh, I actually don't know about that. I'll have to check it out. Let me just write it down real quick. The Winter Race. Okay. Okay, let me go on with the questions. That's not a question. Oh, a couple questions over here. Did someone overlay Vox's scream over one of the tracks? So basically, he was the one screaming. Obviously, the voice acting on the project was fucking fantastic. But there was also screams in the back that kind of layered the whole thing and pushed it to have this sort of like slightly distorted feel at times. So that was very interesting to do. I've never done this before, but there was a bunch of like shout, scream samples and weird kind of sounds that made it kind of, yeah, distorted, weird, freaky. That was interesting. What was the process of coming up the call and response with the piano and violin that appears in a lot of the soundtrack? That's a lot of fuck around and find out. I'll be honest. There's like one specific leitmotif that comes in many parts of the track. I can actually show it right here. You guys are probably familiar with it at this point. Let me see, where's the violin in here? Okay, I'm gonna open my project so I can show you guys directly. I think that's gonna be more interesting. New questions. Okay. That's the vocals. Where are the strings though? Oh, right here. Okay. Let me see. I think it's around here. This. See, that theme happens again and again during multiple tracks. And we kind of considered this Jiro's theme, you know? Just to show how much importance he has in the story that Vox tells, right? So this sort of leitmotif comes and goes in many, many, many tracks. And thankfully, we were able to work around that quite early on. So it was great because we had like that one centered theme for pretty much most of the duration in which I worked on this project. I got very lucky, but again, a lot of it is fucking around, finding out what would fit. But obviously, we wanted to have something very sweet, right? But bittersweet in that situation. So you can hear it with variations. In many places, some of them are going to feel much happier, some of them much more sad to, fit the situation. Definitely an interesting thing to do. I wouldn't say there's much of a process to it at this point. It's just you noodle on your keyboard, you hope for the best, you go for different iterations and whatnot. But thankfully, this one was found relatively early on, so we could work around that pretty fast. Let me go back to the questions. Oh, that's not it. That's other questions. Okay. Let me go back to the BGM as well. Lots of the music reminded me of Studio Ghibli Nier. I saw you say that Kevin Penkin was a huge inspiration for the soundtrack, which I heard in the vocals for Fallen. But were there other sources of inspiration? We kind of talked about it to some extent, with The Well, the Revenant, etc., God of War, all these references that Vox sent me as we were working on this. So I would say these couple are part of that, but I would say I used a bunch of Kevin stuff at times because I really wanted to have that very, very, very bittersweet stuff. Not just the dark side of things, but also bring in some warmth, right? When you listen to, I think you can hear it in that same project as well. No, that's not it. Is it this? Okay, you can't necessarily hear it in this one if I remember well, but basically he has this use of an instrument called, well, either it's a Rhodes keyboard, which, well, I can actually show you guys, it's gonna be easier. And basically that instrument brings in a lot of warmth, even though it doesn't necessarily match, well, you wouldn't necessarily think of it at first when you think about orchestral elements and whatnot. So let me play some real quick. See, like, it's basically an electric keyboard to make it simple for people. So very warm feeling, right? And you wouldn't necessarily like put it as an orchestral element at all, but it has, yeah, that extra warmth that we needed. And that's something Kevin Penkin uses a lot in his music. So that was definitely something I borrowed from him on multiple occasions, as well as other parts, but we can talk about it later. Might also be hearing it wrong again, but were there any traditional Japanese instruments used in the soundtrack? I thought I heard a shakuhachi. There was a bunch of shakuhachi. There was some koto as well. I think there was, well, that's not Japanese, but we had some yangshin. I think it's called a dulcimer or something like that. But that's more like on the Chinese side of things. We had that at times. It really, really depends. I don't know about Japanese instruments aside from that. We tried to use it in a sort of a light way to not overwhelm the track, right? Because it's very easy to fall into the very generic traditional feel, and we wanted to have a slightly different take from that, as much as there was influences from there, yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's super interesting to work around these elements. In the back, I think you can hear some dulcimer actually, Yangqin. Yangqin. I'm very sorry if my pronunciation is like ass. I have no clue how to manage that. Let me see. Did the team see any parts of the film before composing music for that scene, or was it just going off of Vox's words? So there was a big part of the visuals that were produced that were shown to me before I started working on this. So I was able to get a feel for the scenes, get a feel for you know, the people that, you know, Vox wanted us to meet through his story. So thankfully I had a lot of elements to work around. One thing that I thought was very impressive coming from session musicians and other producers that work on this is a lot of them did not have access to these visuals. So that was for NDA reasons, which is, you know, completely normal. It's just how it goes. But basically I tried my best to explain the situation to them, and I also tried to give them a draft that will have the general feel of the song, but then they would add in a lot of beautiful stuff themselves without even seeing the visuals or being aware of all the story elements. So it just shows how much experience and intuition they have with, you know, finding the right vibe, understanding emotional situations through music. And that's like crazy to me. Yeah. Limited theatrical release when? I don't know if that will happen. That's a good question. That's probably for Vox to answer, though. I have no say in that sort of stuff. Yeah, no, they're absolutely amazing. They were able to get a feel for, you know, everything right away. I barely asked anyone for like many revisions. I feel like the process was very smooth overall. Yeah. Thankfully, I was able to work in the past with most of the people in the team, so I already had like a lot of trust built in the fact that I knew they would handle things just fine. Yeah, that was great. Okay, yeah, we answered that. That's great. Hi Diego. Oh wait, let me say thank you first to Ashi for the couple questions, and then Sunny. Hi Diego, I want to ask which is the first and the last song you made for the soundtrack. Any reasons for that? I basically wrote the tracks in the order that you hear them in the movie, right? So that was because I wanted to have a sort of coherence the whole way through and not go for like one scene that's very different and then go back and then away and back, away and back. So that way there wouldn't be like too many clashes between the parts of the story. And that definitely helped, but also was a bit of a problem towards the end where we had one of the biggest tracks that was during the nightmare scene, right? A very intense track that was, honestly, I had mostly an organizational role in this part. I sent a draft to Ian, Chris, Trig, that's maybe in the chat, question mark, who's, again, amazing producer, songwriter, arranger, like, this dude does everything. Also, he plays strings, and he sang in the track as well. It was pretty crazy. So I basically sent just a sort of structural draft of the track to him, and from there he was able to develop on that, add some layers, add some strings, add some brass and whatnot, and it was extremely interesting to work with that guy because he does so many things right. Let me just yoink his link. He's right here. Beautiful. There we go. So yeah, this guy right here, strings, pog, not just that, arrangement, writing, production, strings, like he understands orchestration extremely well, and honestly, the Nightmare track would not be what it is without this guy right there. Beautiful work. Iron stocks going up 100%, 100%, and he kind of clutched that because we were running out of time, and despite that, he was able to really provide some like very serious results. I don't know how the fuck we would have done it without him, if I'm being real. So yeah. Oh well, look at that. He's right in there. But yeah, that was the only problem with that order, which means we had the Nightmare track for the end, and it was the biggest one, the largest one in terms of production, when we had the least amount of time. So we had to like crunch a bit, unfortunately. But honestly, that's on me for not thinking about it earlier. There's nothing to blame on anyone else but myself. And in the end, we still, you know, managed. So I'm not gonna cry about it. Let me see. Chun, let's see. I'm curious about how did the synopsis of the story make you feel and touch you? And what kind of inspiration did it bring you in terms of music creation? How does it differ from the music you've produced before? Ooh, that's some great questions. I'm a sucker for stories that hurt me emotionally, you know? Give me, for example, Nier, right? I absolutely love anything Nier related because the stories are heart-wrenching, you're gonna fucking cry about everything. And it's just, there's this beauty in the tragic, right? So when I read that, I got that same feel. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna hurt. This hurts already. So I think that was the first impression. I was like, damn. That's gonna be tough to recover from. But it made me very happy as well, you know? Because it shows that, I think it was in collaboration with Onigiri, right? That Vox was able to tell that story. So these two really had a way with, you know, how they portrayed everything. And yeah, that's not something you see every day. It made me very happy to be a part of that, you know, storytelling. Let's call it that. I can see people enjoying the Nier stuff in chat. Hell yeah. Angst is life. Yeah, you guys get me. Yeah, okay. I'm glad I'm not fucking up the names too much. Okay, let's keep it up. I think we're good with that part, unless there's more questions if I refresh real quick. That's good, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. Okay, this we can leave on the side for now. Not to be a sellout, but highly recommend the games Lobotomy Corporation. Especially Oh, my brother was playing that, actually, if I remember well. Or like watching a full Let's Play about it. He was telling me very, very good things about it. So, honestly, I might have a look. I'm kind of a nerd for that sort of stuff. I remember when I didn't play Nier Replicant yet, but I was watching like 6-8 hours plus videos about the cinematics, the lore, the explanations and everything, so I would be happy checking it out. Okay. Let me see if I'm missing anything here. Oh god. I'm sorry for the scuffed explanation, Chihi. Please don't shame me. Or maybe do. Actually, maybe I deserve that. Okay. Well, that's not a question, but thank you then. I'm sorry, this is very scuffed. Let me see. This is probably one of the wildest passion projects undertakings I've seen in my times far. What was your biggest takeaway from working on a whole ass feature film like this? I already replied to some of these on Twitter, so don't mind my replies over there. But I would say you cannot be ready for that sort of stuff if you've never done it before. You can prepare all you want, you will have some struggles, you will have some issues. So if you're scared of ever getting into something like that, be scared, but still do it. It's very rewarding, it's very fun. You will have to crunch yourself, you will have to be on call, well not on call, but like, you will have to be ready to work at any given time, basically, because it's definitely a lot of work. You have to keep track of your own writing, you have to keep track of the producers working with you, the session musicians, the singers, etc. But it's so much fun. It's so much fun. But also, be very strict with yourself in terms of organization, or else you're fucked. That's it. I saw someone in chat. I would definitely love to hear how the process differs between making a one-off thing and making a whole series of songs, like trying to get the different tracks together through instrumentation and soundscapes. That's very interesting, actually. I would say you have to create a selection of instruments you're gonna use. I was talking about this to Vox at some point, about how I wanted to assign a specific instrument to every person in the story. So we didn't quite go with that, but we stayed quite reduced on the sound selection, right? We have the very distorted cello that goes like super weird and stuff whenever his inside voice comes out, you know? We had some piano, some strings, and woodwinds to represent the family as their own individuals, and we also had that for me that was the sound of like peace, tranquility, you know, finding fulfillment. So it's this kind of back and forth between finding that, but also that super distorted soundscape and whatnot. So you have to go very different directions, but it has to make sense in a storytelling kind of way. So that was very interesting to find out. I had to sit down with myself to be like, okay, I have to go very far between these two sort of things, but also it has to come back together in a specific way. Yeah. Another thing that's very fun to do, and I kind of talked about it before, is the leitmotifs, right? So having that one general theme that comes back again and again, but with some variations, right? So if you change the emotional impact of that same theme, you're gonna have a very coherent soundtrack because you recognize that melody, but in different situations. So that's very effective, and it's used in so many, you know, cases. Do I have a favorite track? I was asked that quite a bit. I really like The Second Son and Fallen. I think these two are my favorites, actually. Well, it's playing in the back. Wait, no, is it this one? Can't remember if it's this one. I'm still kind of confused with the title change. But yeah, these two were honestly so nice to work on, and they felt like home, right? I was very comfortable working on these because it felt like sounds I would do even if it was outside of this project. If you always stay scared, you'll miss out on some amazing opportunities. Thank you for jumping in and doing this and giving us an amazing... Thank you. That's one big lesson I've learned throughout the last couple of years, is it's not about not being scared, right? Sometimes I do things and I say yes, but I'm terrified. I'll have the occasion about talking about that a bit later, perhaps. But yeah, do things, you know, like kick your ass and do things, even if you're scared. Like, I understand it takes time to be comfortable with fear, and it's also a very privileged position that is mine, right? I'm able to take some time to potentially fail, and I'll still be fine. And that's not something everyone can afford. So I understand it's also a question of position, situation, and whatnot. But if you are in the ability of taking a challenge on, do it. Do it. Because if you take on something that's way too difficult for you, you will learn so much about it, and you will be ready for so much more in life. And that's fucking wonderful. Sorry if I'm missing anything in chat. I'm kind of trying to keep track, but damn. How to get started making music, both in terms of what you need to learn to start making music, or to help with the process alone. My personal take is to pick an instrument that you really vibe with. Try out things, you know, maybe go to a school, maybe ask them for a couple hours to try out instruments, because that's something they do at times. And that's going to help you not invest too much money into that. You can just, you know, spend a couple bucks on trying out stuff, figuring out what you like, and from there pick that instrument and try to reproduce things that you love. I think that's the best way to learn. Of course, when I say that, it's as a beginner thing, right? You cannot just do this your entire life. But to start out, it is so good to learn. You know, do covers. That's great. I've done covers. It's so fun because you get to work on music that you love already. You can work with more people, perhaps, that love the same music, and that will push you so far already. I think that's the best way to go about it. I won't talk about music theory and whatnot because I don't know anything about it. I'm terrible at it. But yeah. Also, if you're someone who struggles with discipline, you could take some classes as well. That's gonna push you, you know, have that extra pressure to go in and figure out what you want to do. Sorry, I'm kind of slightly sick still. I'm asking, per track, do you have an idea of the average time you or the other people took from making it start to finish? That's very difficult. If you look at the amount of tracks in there, there was like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, about 19 tracks, something like that. Some of them were very long, some of them were very short, but there was no rule of thumb for that. Some of them, sometimes they're very simple and take a couple hours. Some of them will take multiple weeks, at the very least. But if you want a general idea, I took around 6 months to produce the soundtrack with the entire team. And that's like 9 people involved. Yeah. I think someone asked if you had a favorite piece in the OST. Yeah, I think I was mentioning Fallen and The Second Sun, just because, you know, it was very comfortable sounds to work around. Let me see. Sorry if I'm missing a lot of stuff. I'm trying to catch on the little questions in chat as I go. Thank you for the answer. I can't afford classes right now, unfortunately, but I do feel like it's less of a need for specific guidance and more of a mental block. Interesting. I had a solution back then for mental blocks, is trying to work with people, right? Because I feel like a lot of the cases when you stop yourself from doing things, it's because maybe you don't feel like it's worth it for yourself. Maybe, you know, you don't have enough confidence. I'm not sure what it is, but I've experienced that for sure. But when you work with people, you don't have a choice. You have to work with them and for them. Because if you don't, you're going to get in trouble. So having that extra pressure to push you, of course, you know, in a reasonable way, is very good to start out. Hey man, hope you're doing well and that you didn't get hit by the storm too badly. No, yeah, there's been a couple storms lately in France, but it's pretty chill over here. I appreciate it though, thank you. How much did you have to match with the session musicians or any of the other creatives working on this movie? So generally speaking, it went that way. So you had Vox on top of the pyramid, right? Being like, oh, this is kind of what I want, throwing references and whatnot. So I would create a draft, send it back to Vox, who would be like, okay, this works, this doesn't work. From there, I send it back to the musicians, producers, people that are working with me, so they can be like, oh, okay, here I have an idea, or here I recorded some string or flute or whatever lines to help out, right? And from there, I would assemble everything, kind of try to refine things, and push it back to Vox. So that's generally the sort of workflow that we had. Shit, I have allergies, sorry about that. Were there many revisions? I wouldn't know what a large amount is at this point, but I would say it went much more smoothly than I expected. I thought we would have to like go back and forth many more times. But because like, I want to say that, because the people I was working with were so chill and skilled, it was honestly much more smooth than I expected. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it took too many of them. It never felt like a chore at any point, right? May I ask which one of those soundtrack makes you struggle the most when you compose? Ooh, that must be one of the the very creepy ones. Let me check the soundtrack real quick. So I would say either Food or Found You, because these are sounds at the complete opposite of what I'm used to, right? I don't know if some of you guys are familiar with my music already, but I tend to do stuff that is very chill, usually speaking, like very easy to listen to, very calming. So this was the complete opposite, and I had to like learn on the spot, because what am I supposed to do, right? I just had to. So yeah, these two were definitely the hardest for me. Oh yeah, everyone was pretty much on the same page. Thankfully, the communication was great. People, there's nothing to say in bad about their skills at all. Everyone was on point the entire time, and that's the crazy part. Like, you would expect something to go bad, and of course there's some unplanned events. I'm not gonna get into that, but the whole thing was very chill to work on overall. Vox had mentioned before that he talked to you about wanting a messy track and throwing out everything you knew. Yes, yeah, that's basically the two. So it's basically forgetting everything you know about making a track sound comfortable, musical, appealing, whatever, right? And you just smash everything you have. Just turn off your brain basically and try to like ooga booga your way into like layering creepy shit while still trying to think about the context. So it's a turning off your brain type situation, but you still gotta think about it slightly. I'm still figuring out how the fuck I'm supposed to do that stuff. That's incredible, especially with so many people. I know that's wild. Like you would expect like something to go wrong, right? Like, yeah, sometimes people like got sick or something, or got extremely busy with personal stuff, but that's fine. That's like in every project, so it never felt like overwhelming or problematic. Everyone was sweet as fuck about everything. So in the track with the whispers, I swear some of them sounded backwards. Yes, I did a lot of sample processing, indeed. I just opened that thing, grabbed a lot of weird effects, saturation, overdrive, bit crush, reversed some whispering and stuff to make it sound like creepy in the sense that like there's familiar sounds but distorted. So that's where the uneasiness comes from, at least what I tried to do with it. So familiar sounds like whispers and whatnot that you use in a slightly different way to make it like, ooh, oh, yeah, you know? Besides Kevin Penkin, amongst others, what other artists do you take inspiration from, especially in terms of your usual music? Ooh, I'm a huge sucker for Porter Robinson, Marion, people like that, honestly, or pianists like Jan Tiersen or Ludovico Einaudi. I'm not sure if the pronunciation is right. But yeah, people that have like a very, very musical style of music, no matter if it's gonna be like electronic, just piano, orchestral, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I love that stuff. You know, it always feels very emotional to listen to these people. Yeah, I think these are huge inspirations for sure. To build tension and a feeling of foreboding sense, yes. We're talking about the creepy tracks, right? Yeah, we need to make it sound like odd, eerie as fuck. Kind of like something is wrong, something is not gonna go well. Genius at work? No, no, it's quite the opposite, to be honest. Like sometimes you gotta like hit your brain a couple times to be like unga bunga, forget your stuff and try again. Is it random whispers, or is there anything special about it, if you can say that? So there's two things about that. At some point, I wanted to record the whispers myself, saying sentences that, you know, revolved around the scene, around the people involved in the story and whatnot. But it felt wrong. Like when I recorded that stuff, it just didn't work out. So I did use a lot of samples for that track. So that way you could have very clean whispers, but I could apply a lot of effects to that. So it's more of a production reason rather than how do I say that? Storytelling reason. But I wish I could have done a bit more with it, because it's really fun to see people kind of dissect your tracks, try to like reverse things and whatnot. But unfortunately, in this case, I didn't have the capacity to do that. Even though I wish it would have been a great idea. Yeah. Sorry, I'm big on lore, so I'd reverse it otherwise. I appreciate that. No, that's great, you know? Artists love people like that. It's always cool to have people kind of dig through stuff and whatnot. I'm half tempted to still do that. I mean, you could. I'm honestly not even sure what they say at this point. Is there a predicted date when this will be on streaming? That's a very good question. I am not sure at all. So I feel like it would be a plan, but I don't want to announce anything that's like not official yet, because you know it's not my place. I just did the music. Now for everything that's release-wise, I'm gonna leave it to Vox and Niji EN to manage that. Yeah, I just don't want to, you know, push anything onto people without, you know, knowing for sure that the information is correct. But for now, at least the video is up. So if you want to listen to it, it's there. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I missed anything over there. Okay, that's pretty clear, that's cool. That I read. Thanks for the soundtrack, honestly. I've had some of the tracks on loop. Thank you. Dude, this is so nice to hear, you know? It's always kind of scary to do a soundtrack, because for me, there's two kinds of soundtracks, right? Two kinds that are good. One is the soundtrack that blends really well with the story, with the people involved and whatnot. And that's great. That's already great work. And then the second kind of situation is the soundtrack that's gonna do just that, but also have some music memorable enough that you want to go back to listen to it. And that's really something, you know, close to my heart when I listen to soundtracks. For me, it's extremely important because, you know, instead of just matching the quality of everything, you're doing something on your own, trying to push your own stuff to be just as important as the rest. And that was, yeah, extremely important for me to try and achieve. So hearing that people enjoy listening to it on the side is fucking great. So thank you for that. To me, each track you can just see the movie in your head, and that's just incredible. It's absolutely going on loop once the stream is over. Thank you. That's that's really okay. There's two things to that. First of all, thank you, 'cause, you know, I'm very happy and proud about the work that we did as a team. So it's fucking great to hear people are enjoying it. Second thing is absolutely give credit to Vox for that, because it's his direction for his own story that created this sort of situation where music or visuals or people involved, they all match the situation, and that's really thanks to him. I get the feeling you managed to do both, because I can't imagine the movie without this soundtrack, and also some of the tracks were chilling, sometimes you can listen to repeatedly. Thank you. I'm sorry if I'm terrible at taking compliments, that's a recurring thing with me, I guess, but I do care, and I do appreciate you guys for that, really. I forgot about this stream joined a few minutes ago, but I've been listening to the soundtrack on YouTube on loop since it's released. Thank you. That's really fucking nice. Thank you. I'm trying to go through the chat. Please feel free to repeat your question if you feel like I missed it, or if I haven't replied to it correctly. If we give that man any more love or head pats, he will combust. Exactly. Exactly. I'm not good with that stuff, but I appreciate it. Okay. Let's go back to some questions. May I know if your team have taken an inspiration from Japanese pieces and how to come up with an idea to recreate it with Western instruments? It sounds really traditional and authentic for some of the rhythm, I think, and melodies in the movie. So that, I think, is just the general tone of specific instruments, like shakuhachi, koto, and stuff like that, that give that sort of feel. And then you have specific keys, I think, in music that give this very East Asian feel, right, to a soundtrack. So working with these two elements, you're able to not only implement very strong reminders of the geographic location of the events, but also add your own stuff into that. You know, try to mix everything with instruments that you would not hear generally speaking. So I would say use instruments that you wouldn't expect if you want to go for something a bit more modern sounding. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but unexpected is key, I guess. I think it was a TED Talk at some point, and someone was talking about music and what brought people to enjoy music. And I thought it was very interesting because this person was, what brings people to enjoy music is a mix of two things: balancing expectations and also surprise. So if you have a track that's only surprises, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? It doesn't make any sense, right? If I do some shit like that, it's surprising, but it's shit. But if you do something like, wait, if you do something like that, and you just do that for like 5 minutes, like the chord sounds nice, but it's boring. So if you mix a balance of something that is expected and something that's unexpected, you will have a banger. And it's that exact balance that you need to reach to make something good, in my opinion. The opinion of that one guy on the TED Talk as well. Let me see. Oh, let me put that back real quick. Honestly, I was able to put this OST to more than just a movie, so the fact that I can do is a testament to how emotionally well done this OST is. Thank you. Dude, man, this is very nice to hear. I still doubt my decisions at times, and I know like some things I will be able to do better in the future, but I'm still very happy with how things turn out. How different was it to work with Vox compared to past projects? It felt familiar. I think that's the right word, because some people will make you comfortable enough with your own decisions while still having their own direction, and it's gonna feel very homey, right? Like, you're working with someone that cares enough, and that feels right at home. So I wouldn't say, how would I say that? I'm lucky to be working with a lot of people that care about what they do, and that's fucking wonderful. I'm very, very lucky about that. So having him come in and be like very open, very warm about that sort of, you know, project creation, yeah, it felt just right. I wouldn't say it was surprising or anything like that. No, it felt just right. And that's how it should be when you work on projects like these. I think if you work on stuff like that with people that don't care and that are not emotionally invested, like it shows right away. And that's the moment where the job that I do becomes hell. You want to be working with people that care, always. Thinking, subverting expectations. Yes, yeah. Additionally, how familiar were you with Vox and Nijisanji in general? Vox I've worked with before on several things, like some lore stuff. I produced the instrumental for New Sidonia as well. So I've worked with him on some stuff before, and we talked a bit about that stuff. So I guess it was comfortable because we already, you know, worked together on some stuff. Yeah. You know, when he talks about his own story and whatnot, what he went through and whatnot, it feels much easier to understand because you have these previous work experiences, so you're able to kind of transfer that into next projects. Yeah. But with Niji in general, there's one person in there that, you know, people are gonna laugh at me for that, but I fucking love Anna, right? She's been my fucking, I'll call her my best friend at this point, for years now. She's amazing, great artist, great friend, great person in general. So I was so lucky to meet her, you know, even prior to her entrance in Niji, and we were able to kind of support each other in our ventures, and that has been so nice. It's kind of nostalgic to think about it, even though it's been like, what, 2 years for her in Niji? Damn. It's not even that long, but it feels like a while. But yeah, she's great. And that's how I got, you know, kind of aware of what was going on in Niji and whatnot, got interested, got to work with people. Yeah. So I guess it started like that. Yeah. Suddenly, sorry if I'm missing a lot of stuff. What projects would you like to work on in the future? One thing that I would say is working on a video game soundtrack, but luckily I am already doing that. So that's very exciting. So there's two other things. There's like working on a live performance perhaps of something, which I'm technically working on as well. So that's going to be some details that I'm going to share at some point. But one thing that I have no kind of foot in is working like on an anime soundtrack or something like that. It's something I've never done before, and I would love to give it a shot, you know? After working on this, I'm like, yeah, storytelling is so fun and like rewarding to work on. So if I can get to work on stories like these, you know, very emotional and things like that, I feel like I would love it. Would you say this is the biggest project you've ever done? Yes, 100%. I've never done as much music production for a single project. Ever. I've got Birds of Time on several playlists. Let's go. Let's go. Man, Birds of Time was so fun to work on. New Sidonia as well. Let's go. You guys know the good shit. Oh my god. She's so talented and so funny. Yeah. She's like, it's so interesting, like as a person. How would I say that? She has very stupid moments, but she's such a smart person. like her life smart is on top of there. She knows what she's doing, and she's very, very resilient with things. So I have no doubt that she's gonna be going even further than she already is. Yeah.
Eons of pride may disappear, remain to task.
I thought you hate each other on Twitter. Call it tough love. Call it tough love. I love you know, trolling her a bit, just pushing her off the shelf and whatnot. It's kind of funny, you know. I gotta head out, but I will be back for the VOD. I love hearing these details, and thank you for answering so many questions. My pleasure, really. I didn't expect so many people to be interested in the first place, so thank you, if anything. Honestly, the soundtrack is one of my favorite ones from all the movies I've seen this year. Damn. Put in so much work, personality, and story fitting in it. Made it into something really unique and special. Thank you. That's, again, thanks to so many people responsible for that. You know what? Maybe we're gonna spend a tiny bit of time just showing off people. I talked about Ian already. I talked about Riemann. I talked about Unit Zero. But let's talk about Petet, which is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful string player, composer as well, producer and whatnot. But he helped me so much with string arrangement. Well, on the credits track that you're hearing right now, he's the one who did the strings on there. Artem, who's wonderful cellist who helped me on a lot of tracks like Fangs, for example, on Lament as well. Great guy, amazing to work with. One thing that I was, you know, very sadly impressed with is that, you know, as many of you guys know, there's some shit going down in Ukraine, right? Artem being Ukrainian, he had to, you know, leave his studio behind. I'm pretty sure his town got in a lot of trouble over there, but despite that, you know, still a pleasure to work with. He's still doing well, thankfully, but yeah, it's definitely some more heavy topics. So I genuinely want the best for him, and yeah, it's been, you know, sad for sure, but I'm glad he's still able to work on music while so much is going on the side. Yeah, sorry for the little downer moment, but I thought it was important to mention. You know, the guy is still doing so much despite being in that sort of position. Julia Stein, who some of you guys might be familiar with. She's the one who helped me with strings on Deja Vu with Uki. So yeah, great string player, viola, violin. She got it all. Amazing. Honestly, I've never been disappointed a single time. And we have more stuff that we're working on, so amazing person. Dario, flute player. The flute that you hear in the back, that is him. That is him, my guys. Banger. It's... I gave him a couple ideas, you know, the theme that he could play again, but he did like so many variations on it, some flourishes, some super nice solo parts. It hits. It's beautiful. I love him. And the last person that I did not talk about is Jay. Jay, who's an amazing sound designer, clarinet player. So he did the clarinet on the Second Son track. So Jay, you're fucking amazing. Honestly, this guy, I don't know like how far he's gonna go, but he's gonna go far for sure. He does everything. He's done some, I don't know, sound design, clarinet, 3D modeling, mixing as well. He's mixed some stuff for people that you might know from Hololive and whatnot, and many other people. Like, he's on point with so many things. Amazing person to work with, super sweet as well. So all of these people, bangers. I love them so much. Last thing, I'm gonna do a little plug right here. So basically, I founded a studio of like audio services and stuff. So we were super happy to be working with a bunch of people from the studio. So Rain Man, Unit Zero, me on the soundtrack. It's so nice to, you know, see people that you have like full faith in, and you kind of brought them into the studio and stuff, and now they're getting to work on stuff like that. It's like, it's so cool. It makes me super happy because I guess I feel validated in my choice of people, if that makes sense. Like, I knew they would do good, and they did good, and that's so nice to see. Okay. Maybe I'll continue reading the chat. It's nice being able to have friends like that, people you don't know for too long, but it feels like you have no longer. Yeah, that was exactly the same feeling, actually. I've known Anna for like, what, 4-ish, maybe? Was it 3 or 4 years? I can't remember. But it's not that long, right? But I don't know. It just clicked. She's a great fucking friend. Yeah. I hope you get to achieve your dreams and manage to work on them one day. Thank you. I'll do my best to get to that point. I don't know how it will go, but honestly, I'm already so happy with what I'm getting. So I don't want to be too greedy either. Yeah. I'm very satisfied. I'm very lucky. Would you say you learned a lot in this project and that it has influenced the music you will make in the future? That's a great question. Have I learned a lot? Yes, because that sort of project you cannot ever be prepared for unless you have actually been doing stuff like that for years. So it's gonna help me with organization, people, like hiring the proper people, the writing organization as well, like what to start with, what to finish with, time management, burnout as well. That's kind of a downside. I have no regrets, and nobody pushed me to do this, right? So it's only on me that I'm blaming this for. But very clearly, after doing this, I'm honestly feeling a little burnt out, and I guess it was a great way to do limit testing, right, in a safe environment, because I was confident that I would finish things in time, but it was still tough in the sense that you cannot really go away from work, right? Your weekends, you're gonna spend them working. You're on a like little vacation, whatever, you still have to work, prepare things, talk to people, send files. You can never completely disconnect. And this comes with the job, right? So I'm not complaining, but it's just how it is. And it's gonna be quite energy consuming. But again, no regrets. I'm still completely happy with my position. It's just something you have to be ready for, yeah. I don't know how to talk about this, but knowing that you all have a great time on this project makes me so happy. Even if I'm just an audience. Wonderful music and great story. Thank you. I think when you see something that's genuine and, how would I say that? When you can feel that people actually put their own creative energy into something, you can feel it. That's my take on that. So if you felt that way about our project, that's fucking great. That's all we want. Sometimes she just has some natural stupidity moments. Oh yeah, talking about Anna. She's just a funny guy. She's just a funny guy. It's crazy because she has a lot of life experience on certain things, and some others she's very ignorant. Not in a bad way. She's just like has a lot of experience somewhere and not at all somewhere else. So it creates that sort of like imbalance that's very funny to witness. But nah, she's great. Her dark humor, yeah. Street smarts, yeah, I would say that. Life smarts. Weird question, but have you shown your family the soundtrack? Was it stressful? Ooh, I have not. I get along really well with my mom and stuff, so I could. I guess it's, how would I say that? She's a great person. I feel like she's a great mom as well. She definitely did like pretty much everything right when it comes to raising me and my brother. But it's kind of It's not a bad thing, but we just have like a tiny bit of distance that doesn't make it that comfortable to share everything I'm living or projects I'm working on. So I might tell her a bit in general about what I'm doing, but it's gonna say around that sort of area. But she's still fucking great. I love her a lot. Would you want to work on more projects like these with Fox or even other people? Like for big story stuff? Yes. It's a lot of fun. I get to work with people I love. Yes. As simple as that. Yeah, it's just been so nice. Sorry, I'm really late on chat, so you might not be seeing my replies to that quite soon enough. Is there an instrumental for Fallen that will come out soon? That's a great question. I'm gonna write it down and ask Vox if that would be okay. Okay, I wrote it down so I can check it out later. Yeah, round of applause to all the people on this. How did you feel when Vox initially asked you to work on this project? I was talking about this earlier, right? About doing things even if you're scared. I was terrified. Not in the sense that like the project itself was scary, but because there was a lot of self-doubt, right? It was very exciting, but also, can I do this? So usually the answer to that is, I don't know, but I'm still gonna try. And no matter what, the only thing that matters is that the person is satisfied with the result in the end. So I hope we managed to do that just fine. Yeah. But it was very scary. Okay. I think I kinda caught up with chat a bit. Oh, Petit is in chat. Tuning in just now. Hi, man. Thank you so much again, for the crazy amount of help. I kind of threw some people at you. I hope they're giving you some love and here and there. But yeah, Petit, responsible for the strings on the credits track. Wonderful fucking takes on that. Because I want to make this very clear. Is as much as I have a role in the composition, the writing of tracks, a lot of session musicians, of other producers, singers, etc., they're gonna put their own takes onto stuff. So they also have a very important like compositional role, right? So as much as I might be responsible for the organization of things, these people are just as important for the tracks, because it's merging ideas, right? I can be like, oh, hey, can you do something with that sort of vibe or this? And sometimes I'll have a draft. Sometimes I'll just send them like references myself. So that's where the production roles comes into account. But that means that these session musicians are just as important for the compositions. Not a question, but I'm really loving all the insight you gave on creating music and the process of it. It's very inspiring. Thank you. I hope I'm not going on too many tangents and whatnot. It's kind of hard to know how much time I'm taking for questions and whatnot. But I hope it's interesting. Collaborative work, my beloved. 100%. I guess that's where you have to kind of put your ego aside. Because if you tell yourself like, oh, I'm gonna do everything myself, I'm gonna learn how to do this, how to do that, it's not realistic. You need people. And if you don't give them what's needed to actually work on your project, it's not gonna work out. So you might be taking in responsibility, but when it comes to actually making things, again, these people are just as important as me as, the organizational force. To build on the where to start question from earlier, what's a good software that you recommend for beginners at producing music? I would say it depends on your budget, because if you're low on budget, which is perfectly fine, Reaper is a great option because it's very, how would I say that? It's a software that has just the same options as any other similar ones, like Fruity Loops, or Ableton Live, or stuff like that, but it's free, which is great. But if you have a bit of budget, I would recommend trying stuff like, FL Studio or Ableton Live. Some people who have Macs can start on GarageBand, and I think it's a great place where to start as well. I don't have a Mac myself, but I had a chance to like kind of mess around my half-brother's Mac at some point, and it was very interesting and very fun to work around. We love tangents? Okay. I'll try to like not go too far though. May I ask what software you use for composing music? I use Ableton Live. So this little guy right here. It looks complicated and stuff, maybe. I'm not sure at this point, but it's very easy to understand relatively fast. So maybe we should get into that at another point, but I would recommend Ableton once you got like basics in music, yeah. That's just because, you know, I love it myself, but any other just have the same features. It's just a different interface. So again, FL Studio, Reaper, Logic, GarageBand, they're all fine. They're all fine. How long have you been working on this project? I started in May, so about 6 months. Yeah. And if your budget is not much, yeah, Reaper is great. GarageBand might be free on Macs, I'm not too sure. But yeah, GarageBand is great, would recommend. Also has a bunch of downloadable stuff, yes, 100% would recommend. Thank you for the software recall, gonna try them out when Uni Final stopped torturing me. Oh no. School, uni. Honestly, I respect people that go through their studies so much because I'm unable to focus. Like, I went through my early years of school just fine, but when it came to actually working hard at school and learning stuff, even though you didn't necessarily like it, I just couldn't. So I dropped out. I dropped out during... It was basically uni, yeah. Literally me? Yeah, you guys get it. You guys get it. Don't worry, it took me 30 minutes to run through 10 multiple choice questions. I felt that. Lore? Oh, nah. What is it, lore? I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty open about that stuff. But, yeah, no, I dropped out in my first year of, I'll call it uni, just because it's easier to explain. But yeah, it was like stuff related to business management. So we had some courses on economics, management, marketing, some business law as well, and languages. So it was, you would think it would be interesting, but the accounting was such a big part of things that I died inside and it just didn't show up at some point. Yeah. Thankfully, I love school a lot, but God, it's not for everyone. Yeah, I would say this. I would say so too. Like, school can be extremely important and good for a lot of people. It just didn't work out for me. And yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of at any point. If you find your own thing, it's cool. You're good, you know? I feel like uni is overrated. You don't need it to succeed. I think that's a person-to-person thing, right? Some people have very bad discipline habits, so having this sort of context around you, you know, you have the uni establishment, some courses, some teachers and whatnot, it's great because you're put in a situation where you have to be there. So for discipline, that's great. But for someone who can already manage things on their own and you don't want to do something related to the school, it's like, who cares? Just do it. Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't blame necessarily the school system or stuff like that, because it does some good to some people. There's, of course, some very wrong stuff, especially in the US, you know, with loans and whatnot, and the way they manage their, like, courses and whatnot. But I wouldn't blame the entire thing. Like, the concept of school is a good thing, in my opinion. Yo, what's up? How you doing? I have a question. Why are you so cool? I'm not. I'm not. I'm a guy who dropped out. It's funny. I feel like it's kind of weird. Like for the longest time, I would consider myself kind of the loser of the friend group, right? Not to put myself down. It was just like that. Because I have some friends who are doing some really amazing things. One of my best friends, IRL, he's like someone who's working on plane crashes investigations, and that's insane. That guy's a pilot himself. He does some crazy shit, and he had to work so hard to get there. So yeah, he can fucking pilot planes. He's like investigating on some crazy things. It's wild. But yeah, you just think about yourself like a bit less sometimes when you have people like that around you. I was still very happy for them, but it's definitely something you have to take in and work around. Yeah. If I wasn't in uni, I don't think I'd be able to function on my own. That's a great example, right? If you lack the discipline, which is, again, completely fine, you need someone to push you, and having that sort of structure behind you is great. Yeah. Up till now, outside of school, I don't think I've ever finished any creative project I've started or thought about. If this is something you feel like you're lacking, I would recommend working with other people, as I was saying earlier on. Because that's going to push you to not really have a choice, right? Because you don't want people to be disappointed. Usually you're fine with, a thing I've noticed with many people is that they're fine with disappointing themselves, but not others. Because there's a lot of people pleasers out there. So I guess that's our superpower in a way. It's like, since we care so much about other people's perspectives, we're going to push ourselves harder. And it doesn't have to always be a bad thing. Yeah. I'm good. How's my Fab French? I was kind of going through the process of like the whole soundtrack composing and whatnot. So it was very interesting. People have been asking great questions. So I'm having tons of fun. Yeah. But you make dreams. I don't know about that. But I'm having a lot of fun with what I'm doing for sure. Yeah. I felt that. Yeah, you guys get me. Yeah. You know, I'll be honest, right? I hope this won't rub people off the wrong way, but I feel like if we're doing shit on internet, at first for many of us, it's because, you know, maybe we have less confidence to do things IRL at first, right? So you kind of figure out yourself, you build your confidence, and end up doing shit online, and that's great. But then, yeah, we're all kind of the same breed usually, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. We just maybe need a different way of building ourselves up, yeah. Zam! Congrats again! Thank you. I hope you enjoy. How have you been on your end? Not suffering too much on Valorant and stuff? I think I'll try to work to implement having others as my accountability more. Yeah! Yeah, I've been using that for a long time. So honestly, if I look at my projects nowadays, I barely have any solo stuff. Barely. So this has been helping so much. Music production breakdown stream to giving advice stream. I feel like it's... Okay, it's less related to, you know, the Demon Hungers, of course. But I feel like it's related to... How to say that? Project management in general. Like, if you don't manage yourself to begin with and find ways to cope with certain things, it's gonna be very hard to be efficient and effective with your own work. Yeah. Having someone to write stuff for is a fantastic way to make sure you get it done for sure. Yeah, for sure, right? It's like you don't need to, how to say it, destroy your brain as much with like the amount of creative energy you have to spend. So you can actually not only rely on them to like push you a bit without them doing anything. It's just the fact that they're there. But also having them to write stuff that you wouldn't think about and that you don't even need to think about. So it's very relieving to work as a team. Of course you have to work on like communication and stuff like that. But if it's people you genuinely like or enjoy working with, it should be fine. Yeah. I have that with art commissions. It helps having that bit of pressure to do things. Yes. Yeah, commissions, I would consider that as well as a sort of group project, because you get like a director, like your client, to kind of lead you and figure out stuff for you in a sense. So you don't have to think about it as much. Same with writing, yeah, exactly. You know, as long as you have like someone to go back and forth with, it's gonna save you a lot of energy. Can confirm that accountability networks do work, yes. My productivity on my own is so much different than when I know they're watching me slack off over video call. Yeah, that's definitely a thing as well. That's why I sometimes go into Discord servers just to be there, just have the presence, and be like, okay, some people might be like around seeing me there. Like, I have to get things done. Yeah. I'm just gonna take, wait, how long has it been? An hour 46? Yeah, we have time. I was just gonna say, I'm gonna take a small bathroom break, and I'll be right back. Let me just put, do I have a BRB? Yeah, I do have a BRB screen, let's go. Okay, I'll get to the next question in just a second. No. Okay, I'll be right back. Yeah, I bet you guys enjoyed the BRB screen, huh? Very deep, very thought out. I'm sure you guys loved it. Right. I was about to answer Loaf. How do you get inspired to write the lyrics for the songs you have written? If we're talking about Fallen, that was very, very, very linked to Vox's story, right? Through his experiences and stuff. I tried to imagine how he would have felt at that moment. So generally speaking, I'm gonna pick up some specific words and then try to form sentences with them and have this sort of storyline flow from there, right? So if you start with these very keywords, you should be able to like slowly build that sort of, you know, melodic structure and rhythmic structure that kind of flows naturally. But it's still something I'm figuring out quite a bit. And when it comes to my own stuff, I would say two things. Either it comes from very personal experiences or from visual inspiration. All of these things work just as fine, but I try to remain vulnerable no matter what, because that's how people can actually feel closer, right, to your work. That's something I still struggle with, because there's always this kind of fear of being too vulnerable, maybe a bit cringe or something, or not showing enough skin, you know, and kind of putting too much distance between you and the person listening to your work. So that's the tough part. You have to really measure that, and it's not a precise science at all. You can like completely mess up something and not even figure it out, because for you something might be obvious, but for the audience it might not. Yeah. Along those lines, where do you start when you're making a song in general? I usually start like playing random shit on the piano. I've been playing piano for I think more than 15 years now. Probably more than 15 years. Yeah, yeah, damn, that's been a hot minute. So yeah, I started there. So I'm very used to like playing random shit on the piano at this point. So playing random melodies, random chords, and I'm a very fuck around and find out kind of person. Yeah, something like that. Vulnerability might be loathed. You're so real for that. It's tough. It's scary, but it's another kind of scary that I have to push myself into to do things that I feel that I try to make things that are impactful, basically. I don't know if I succeed all the time, probably not, and that's fine, but I try, and I'm proud of that, at least, yeah. The cringe part for me is real when I try to write lyrics. Yeah, it's tough, right? Because you need to like make things flow naturally within the melody, within the song, but also make it so that the meaning is there, and it's like too vague or too precise. It's a very picky thing to do. Yeah. Word something might sound too sappy? Yes. Just add a pinch of nostalgia to it? Ooh, that's kind of true, to be honest. Yeah. Very much going more for feeling. Yes. I think most of the stuff I've written is usually based off of like feelings, you know? Good, bad, impactful feelings, no matter what. I write less fun stuff, you know, like just for fun. There's usually something behind. I'm a writer trying to be, and I love fantasy because I think I can be quite vulnerable, but through many layers of bullshit. Yeah! See, that's great. That's what I'm doing with the whole Ataraxa series, for people who are familiar with that. So, taking characters that have been created by Tayu. Tayu is an amazing artist. You know what? Let's check out Tayu real quick. Oh, she's doing a space. Okay, if some of you guys feel like dipping out of the stream and want to listen to some wonderful music, check out her space, because her singing is wonderful, her guitar playing is wonderful. Please check out her stuff. But yeah, she's the person who does stuff like that. Let me just show you guys. Yoink. Yeah, her art is amazing. She's such a sweet person as well, and creates really, really beautiful stuff. Would it be music or art as well? Both. She's crazy. She's insane. So yeah. It's kind of wild to think about. Right? I'm glad you guys agree, but yeah, she has that very, how would I say, unique thing that she does, where it's not just a sweet piece of art, right? You feel like there's an actual communication between the characters happening. Like, this is probably one of my favorite pieces from her, because you can see these two characters interacting. There's so much personality in just one frame. It's insane to me. But yeah, she's super sweet, amazing to work with. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to see people that skilled, you know? You wonder what kind of experiences they went through to have ideas these interesting and pretty. But yeah, should be a lot of fun. I'm actually really excited because I'm gonna be dipping out in Japan in like 2 weeks-ish. So we're probably gonna get to hang out a bit, which is gonna be very interesting because she speaks mainly Japanese and I don't speak Japanese. So that's gonna be fun. I have no clue how it's gonna go, but hey, I just know that she's very, very chill, so I'm not worried. I'm sure we'll figure out something. Let me see if I missed some questions or something over there. Or maybe in there? Question mark? That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Oh, that's something else. Okay. You'll just have to learn? Yeah, I'll have to learn. Wishing you lots of fun there. Thank you. I'm very excited to just like take a breather, you know? Just chill. Communication can happen in many ways or work out. Yeah, like I feel like we're on the same page when it comes to like creating shit and whatnot, and there's always like translating apps and whatnot. I'm not too worried. Just a bit. Just a bit. Okay. Oh, that was interesting. I'm curious, when composing, do you typically match your track's pace beat to the film edit, or is the film later edited to match your song? First of all, thank you. Like, I read the whole thing, it's very sweet of you. Thank you. So there's the two sides of things, right? When, there's a very, very specific part of the story that is told, I needed to really, really match the visuals at that time and really follow a specific rhythm, BPM and whatnot to really make sure that the sync was made by the music. However, in most of the cases, you would need to like sync the visuals to the music. I feel like that's usually how it goes, but I could be wrong. I just feel like it's more practical, but maybe that's just me. Bro, I'll go to Japan the 15th for real. Google Lens and Google Trad will be my best friends. Oh shit, damn, we might be there at the same time, huh? I hope you're gonna enjoy your trip. That was your question? Thank you for, you know, the super sweet words and very interesting question as well. That's true that we don't necessarily talk about that quite much. But yeah, it goes both ways. It really depends on the situation. That I kind of did already. That I did. Inspiration, that I did as well. Okay, that I kind of did. Ooh, okay. How did you... Damn, that's the sweet message again. How did you perfectly capture the tones of each track, considering the multiple elements you had to work with, and how you simultaneously, damn, I can't English, applied your knowledge but also disregarded it at some points to create dissonance? Vox. His direction is impeccable, and it makes my job so much easier. So the reference given, the guiding through the process, chef's kiss. Beautiful, amazing. So I wouldn't put that onto me, but rather on him for explaining things so well, and you know, his experience, what he went through and whatnot. It was super insightful because it was precise but yet still open, and that's what made it so nice to work around. 3 weeks in Japan, I'll make sure each day counts. Let's go! Eat a bunch, my dude. Do you plan to stream more often, by the way? The stream was really comfy and comforting, so I'm just wondering. It's really interesting. Well, first of all, thank you. I really like streaming, but if I'm being realistic with myself, it also takes quite a lot of time for me and energy. So I'm probably gonna stream more, yes, but not frequently, if that makes sense. So I rather do streams like this where there's like a specific purpose, rather than streams with like just gaming. I might do it still, but I feel like it's more interesting to sit down and talk with you guys about something specific. Yeah. But thank you though. Might have well overshot my bedtime, but it was still worth it. The vibes are immaculate. I'm glad. I'm really glad. Please get some rest though. Oh my god. I hope I didn't like shit on your schedule or anything. Oh my god. I would hate myself. Okay, that's cool. Isn't it complicated to stream a bunch because you have to work on things that you can't really show to any audience? Yes, that happens a lot. NDA projects or just personal stuff that I don't really want to show yet because it wouldn't be fun. I want to keep the surprise. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up, hopefully next year. Lots of originals. I am also trying to invest more into visuals. Not that whatever visuals I'm using are bad or anything. I've been working with super cool people. When you think about super cool visual people, I don't know, like Tayu, for example. She's cracked, she's amazing. Clay on videos, Finn on videos. These people are insane. But I'm trying to invest a bit more into more storytelling elements. I'm gonna keep it at that, yeah. Yeah, I hope you guys are going to enjoy that. But yeah, generally speaking, it's a bit difficult to stream on anything that isn't out yet, if that makes sense. So doing little breakdown streams, Q&A streams like that, it's a lot of fun because I get to share shit with you guys finally, you know? And maybe you guys are going to make me think about stuff I've never even thought about before, which has happened plenty of times already today. So that was great. But yeah, streaming is a lot of fun. The curse for artists on Twitch? Yeah, like I tried doing stuff live as well, you know, composing live, but again, I'm only limited to personal stuff, because NDA stuff, well, obviously I don't want to post that stuff, right? I don't want to get in trouble. It's generally how it is. It's unfortunate. But I might find a solution eventually. Like maybe do more personal projects and just show like portions of each. That way it won't be showing too much of it. I'll figure out something. Someone was like, I composed a silly little melody once when I was a child and haven't managed to do it ever since. How does one even manage to compose a whole soundtrack, let alone as awe-inspiring? Thank you, Skipper. Mad respect for your work, Otsu. What I answered there was probably something like, if you did it once, you can surely do it again. But in this situation, it's extremely important to not rely on just yourself, or else you're fucked, right? It's way too much for a single person to manage. So having other people to come in with their own ideas, with their own themes, with their own instrument, it makes the whole process so much easier. So I can put a lot more energy towards the organizational process, and for the creative one, I will have my input, of course, but I'll have some people to help me with that. So the burnout doesn't come as early as you would think. I would say that. Am I missing anything? I feel like there's a couple more questions, but that I probably replied to already. Like there's a bunch more down there, but I already replied to these guys, and I think it would be pretty much about the same-ish questions. Let me have a check if there's anything that we haven't really gone to yet. That we kind of talked about. Oh, I think I remember someone talking. Wait, what was it? Oh, let me just read that real quick. I wish I could ask more questions, but I'm drawing a blank. All I can think about is just how much I loved it. Man, that's already super sweet of you. Thank you. Honestly, dude, I've seen you around from like the start, right? You were like even there in pre-chat, so thank you for sticking up for that long. I think someone was talking about precisely the role of each person and talking about what they did in each track and stuff like that. So I can talk about several tracks. That could be kind of fun, actually. Let's do that. Okay. So we were talking about Patet earlier on, right? And this guy came up with crazy cool string ideas. Let me show that real quick. So all that intro stuff, that's on him. See, like the whole. I'm gonna try to explain it with like technical terms, but also a proper way to understand it. It's called portamento, if I remember well. And it's basically the act of like not going straight for the next note, but having this slow rise towards it, or slow down thing. In this case, it's a rise. So instead of going da da, you're going do, or something like that. And it just adds so much more like dynamics. See, like slow rising next note. It's simple things like that, but that add so much to like the dynamics in the track. Yeah, slides. I think that's a good way to put it. Slides. Okay, I'm glad I'm not saying stupid shit at least. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, the whole introduction. I just sent Patet a reference and he was like, yeah, I got it. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. It feels like slowly walking into a world out of a cave. Oh, I like that. I never thought about it that way, but it actually makes sense. It's kind of funny to think about, because it kind of started that way, right? Vox waking up in a cave and kind of slowly opening up to the world just for it to kind of crumble down. Anyone else imagining the sun setting while watching it from a waterfront? That would be so nice. I would love to do that. But yeah, he did that introduction as well as yeah, these strings over there. So same theme, you recognize that probably at this point. Wait, let me show you the thing actually. Please don't perceive my terrible EQ. Yeah, when you listen to it just like that, it might be hopeful, but then if you add everything else, it has a bit more tragic taste to it. But like that, yeah, it feels like very like the harmonies and stuff. It's like it's nice, but then you add in like, let's say, what is this? I think there's some strings as well. Choir. And then you add some extra layers. So it kind of opens up slowly. So yeah, put that responsible for the strings on there. Absolutely wonderful work. But yeah, as you can see, you can have like one element that sounds pretty hopeful, and then something else that kind of puts down the mood to have it feel a bit more tragic and whatnot. It's really cool. Like choir really hating my feels. Let's go. Let's go. I'm glad, you know? Basically, we had, how would I say that? I'm not gonna talk too much about like budget because I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. But basically, we had a really proper budget to work with session musicians and whatnot. But obviously, we were not gonna spend like hundreds of thousands to hire a whole orchestra, right? Because that would probably be. It's not that it's overkill. It's just like it's a huge amount of money, and we could probably do something good with like a mix of session musicians, library instruments, software instruments, and samples as well. So if you mix everything together, you can really get a result that feels personal, still grand at times, like big, while still keeping costs like under what you would pay for like a full orchestra. So it was very fun to work around a bunch of different tools like that instead of just yeah, going for an orchestra. It's so cool how the meaning changes when you put everything together. Yeah, isn't it so fun? Like, let me see. I think that's the piano. It's fine. It's neat. But nothing special, right? And then you had some reverse piano in the back. And then a pad, like a sort of synth pad going on. And already changes the mood. It's like, it's so fun trying to play around different concepts in the same track. So you don't need to just go fully for something in one direction. It's mixing everything that makes it fun. Yeah. Diego, what's your favorite Made in Abyss soundtrack out of the three? Oh, that's a hard one. I really like the movie soundtrack. The movie soundtrack was fucking wonderful. But all of them are great, so I don't think it's better. I just think it's a personal preference. Thanks for your thanks for your awesome music making the film more perfect. Thank you for first of all, you know, watching that story to begin with, and yeah, it's really sweet to read. Thank you. Getting that efficiency really helps to know if you're just starting. Yeah, yeah, for sure. 100%. Music is so interesting. I don't know much about technical stuff, but I love listening and getting immersed. It is such a fun thing to do. And then if you're lucky enough to like be able to rely on people that do different things from you, you can really do something that you would have not expected before. One thing that was really fun is I wanted the track to sound like slightly, how would I say that? Not industrial, but I wanted to have like some weird drums going on. So you have some drums like that going on in the back. And it's just a very simple sample loop, right? It's really that stupid. And I wanted these drums to be a bit more, how would I say that? Present at first. So I had like something like this going on. Which was definitely like completely different from the more traditional percussions that you hear along the track. Fuck, where is it? I can't remember where I put it. But yeah, it's basically very different in terms of mood, right? You would expect something more traditional going on. Where is it? Oh, it's there. Look at that. See, like, very organic, real instrument type percussions. So if you mix everything together, you can, like, really go for interesting stuff. Let's put it all together just for fun. See, it's like putting loops and loops together. It's so fun to work around. That piano feels like the passage of time for a particular mood, and the rest adds a new feeling. Yeah, it's so it's so crazy how like specific instruments are gonna have like give a specific vibe. I love the movie soundtrack. I don't think I could listen to it for a while without choking. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but also thank you. Um, but yeah, I was having this being much more present beforehand.
Faced before the height of a thousand
As you can see, it's not like
worlds.
too forward, but it definitely changes the vibe a bit.
A soul would guide along, steps run.
So we decided to like put it a bit back down. Vox actually told me like, yeah, maybe we should focus on like more traditional percussions, and I think it was a really good move. So we still have that stuff happening later on, but it's much more. Wait, what's this already? Oh right, it was like some wooden sticks, just a little wooden sticks loop. As simple as that. Yeah, like the mix of everything is kind of interesting. Okay, I'm a sucker for like layering stuff, even though it's very simple things. It's like menacing, but also modern. Yeah, yeah, and then you can just like kind of put one thing on top of the other, on top of the other, on top, and you get something completely different from the start. Like, if I gave you guys just a drum track, I don't think you would have told me like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like an emotional track, right? It feels much different than that. Like, but then the fact that you add other tracks on the side, like, oh, that's the keyboard I was telling you about. Very warm feeling, right? Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's fascinating how just one little change can completely, you know, remove a feeling, add another, kind of mix everything. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I think, oh dude, the fucking vocals as well. I think this is worth talking about.
Thrown amidst the weight of a thousand words.
It's so nice to listen to alone. I remember just sitting down when Raymond sent me that stuff, and I was like, fuck, this is gonna be good.
Caress my ears, faced before the height of a thousand worlds.
And then I add like slight little things later on. When it's like the instrumental break, I still added a couple of vocals just for the back. And then added like an octave higher layer. It's just so fun to work around. And then you go back to like the more intimate stuff.
Is my heart in vain?
I love the grain in the voice. It's so cool, dude.
Would I still be saved? Will you know my name? Falling as I should.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, that's something that was so important during the process, is that I didn't need to direct people on these sort of details. They were just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And it's perfect. It's amazing. I'm not usually much for vibrato, but this is like smooth still. Yeah, yeah, I agree. If you add too much vibrato, I think it kills the vibe. But this felt like the perfect amount. Well, you know, from personal stand view, I was just so happy with the performance. Yeah. Maybe a random question, but if someone were to begin learning music via, say, YouTube, is there anything you recommend or anything you've researched to improve your skill? This is a bit of a hard one, I guess, because I was lucky enough to take a bit of piano classes when I started out. So I learned piano that way, and then when it came to music production, I just researched like specific parts that I needed, like specific skills. let's say, oh, I want to learn how to do a volume automation, right? So volume automation is basically programming the volume change in a track in your software. So it's something that you can do very easily, but it's also a very niche thing in a sense. It's like it's not part of the skills you will learn like just from making music. It's like something you might research in a tutorial, like, oh, how to make a volume automation. And that's like little things like this here and there that I researched separately. However, um, I really like watching people like Andrew Huang. Let me just type that for you. Because the guy is very creative with his music making, and he has a lot of tutorials on songwriting, on what's it called? Songwriting, music theory, and then if you want to learn a bit more about, let's say, mixing and mastering, you could check out In the Mix. It's a channel that has like a lot of tutorials regarding, mixing, mastering, and whatnot. But then a lot of it is fucking around and finding out. I'll call it that. Oh well, yeah. Look at that. Highboard, who's in chat, was literally talking about Andrew Huang. Well, there you go. He's another good resource for like learning how to do things. Agreed. Agreed. Definitely super cool. Oh, Jedi Kid, what's up? Welcome, welcome. Um, I'm so sorry. I missed so many like messages, follows and stuff. I even saw people like that sent bits. Please do not give me money. I'm very lucky to be in a good spot financially speaking. So if you can give that to like a charity or anything, that would be fucking awesome. I'll make sure to redistribute whatever I get from streaming into stuff like that. But it's very nice of you guys. Yeah, we went to the vocals. Is there any specific part from any specific song that you would like to dive into? Because I can do that. I can open any project right now. Some of them might be a bit heavy, so they're gonna take a hot minute, but we can do that if you would like to. Let me see if there's anything else that's like really cool in this track. Um, what even was that? Oh, right. That was probably the reference draft that I sent Pete at some point. So that was basically strings that I wrote on software. So I had like the main theme idea, and then you have like the descending strings. So I had the core thing-ish, but when you listen to Petet's performance, it's just like so much better. Like it's so many dynamic vibratos and shit like that happening. It's so nice. I love his take on this part. This burden forever yours. Oh, you're actually unlucky on that part because that's like the only one that was produced by Unit Zero completely. So I don't actually have that file. Unit Zero has it. Just for a little reminder, for those who don't know who the guy is, he's a great composer, producer, songwriter. He's great with Vocaloid stuff as well, guitarist. That guy does everything. But yeah, he's the one responsible, who was in charge of This Burden Forever Yours, if I remember well. Well, please let me know I'm not wrong. Ooh, is it the right name? Yes, okay, that's him. Cool. I'm sorry, but he's the kind of person to love, right? Absolutely love talking about music. He's like a music nerd, and I love him for that. He's so fucking cool. So I'm sure if you have any questions about that, he would be happy to answer. Um, Fallen, I have the file open right now. This is the one we're on right now, actually. But yeah, we spent some time on this one, talking about the strings and whatnot. The amount of From Oma? Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Yeah, for Fallen, actually, the track is pretty straightforward. There might be... It's not too bad, there's like 50-ish layers. But it's mostly like a bunch of harmonies and whatnot. No, it's okay, don't worry about it. Yeah, the strings... That's Patet. And the fun thing is, if I remember well, he mixed his own like violin playing with some Spitfire Labs strings, which is actually a free plugin. So there is a lot of free resources out there that you can use to make beautiful stuff as well. And I've used Spitfire Labs many times doing that thing.
Eons of pride may disappear.
I actually listened to a lot of the songs you worked on. Master actually sang Deja Vu. Ooh, no way! Did you film that by any chance? So I would love to have a listen. But yeah, Fallen was very straightforward in the sense that like there's only 20 things going on at the same time, right? You got basically percussions, piano, vocals, strings, and flute, and that's basically it. So yeah, you might have several layers of each, but overall it's pretty straightforward in how it's built. I'm honestly a sucker for the flute as well. I showed it a bit earlier already, but like... And then it matches the string parts as well. So you got the flute on the left and the strings on the right.
Would I still be safe? Will you know my name?
And for extra like emotional impact and stuff, a little layer of brass, you know, like... Oh fuck, that's bells. Never mind. Where is it? Oh, it's there. There we go. So as you can see, there's only basically 3 chords of brass. So this is a great example of trying to work around the tools that you have. In this situation, I don't think it would have been worth to hire an entire brass section to play that, as there's just a tiny part and you can still feel the impact just from the software.
Would I still be safe? Will you know my name?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun working on that. Layers on layers of heaven. They were so cool, dude. I love people I work with. They're so fucking cool. Yeah, the bells as well. I tried to add bells here and there. It has like this very... Yeah, as you said, ominous feeling. It's like something intense, impactful is happening, or is about to happen. Yeah. How am I learning more about music here than in my own music class? Oh shit. I honestly, I would take anything you're seeing with a huge grain of salt, because this is just stuff I've been doing because I think it sounds okay, but it's... I don't know if I'm breaking specific rules that I shouldn't or anything. I've never like taken music theory or stuff like that, so I could be wrong about many things. But I feel like if you listen to a lot of music, you'll have a feel for it and you'll be fine, you know? Vampire anime OP? Oh my god. That would make sense. Bells, vampires. I could see that. Let me see. The string texture. Oh yeah, why I talked about that. Rules don't matter if it sounds the way you want to. Yes. I think it was an interview from Billie Eilish and Phineas or something like that, and they were talking about mixing at some point. And how it doesn't matter how many rules you follow or break during mixing, because as long as it sounds good, like, nobody fucking cares, you know? And 99.9% of your audience is not going to be a music audio nerd And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. Like people who are really into audio stuff are amazing, but most of your audience aren't gonna have that level of expertise, so it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah. I did law, but my teacher who also organized the talent show filmed it for me. I was honestly surprised because when I looked into the crowd, people were holding their phones up or their flashlights. Let's go, let's go. A few of my classmates thought I did good, which I was grateful for, but I didn't think I did that well. Oh, it's hard to judge yourself. It's very hard to judge yourself. And it's also hard because generally speaking, people who are creative souls, I'll call it that, are very self-critical about their work. It's extremely rare to see someone around here who's like cocky about their work. I don't think I personally know anyone who's like that. Yeah, so don't take your own judgment as the truth completely. It's good to be self-critical. It's good to, question yourself, but don't put yourself down for it. It's good to see flaws. It's not good to see like the lack of effort or quality, you know? So as long as you know that you put effort and time into something, I think that should be a good indicator of like at least progress. Yeah. I'll send you the video on Twitter. Yeah, I would love that. I would love that if that's okay. Theory just help explain tactics and give them names. Yes, agreed. And it can also open you to like a much larger universe of things that you would never even think are possible. When you listen to stuff from what's a good example? Jacob Collier. I love this dude. He does amazing stuff, and his management of harmony is always extremely impressive. So yeah, that was definitely quite something. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, you cannot imagine certain things. You have to learn them. At least for me, like I don't have the brain necessary to go like above certain things. Creative minds seem to work very similar in being their own worst critics. Yes, we're very self-critical. We low-key kind of hate ourselves sometimes, and that's okay. It's just how it works. Because us not being satisfied is what pushes us forward to keep doing that one thing. So if you're aware of that, it's already a much easier time managing it. Like when I listen back onto the soundtrack we just made, I'm looking at my own flaws and I'm like, oh yeah, I could have done this better and that better. But it's not really a self-loathing thing anymore, right? It's just like, yeah, I just know I want to do better, and that's okay. Flaws are room for improvement. Exactly. Yeah. Hey, we got some Jacob enjoyers in chat. It's a lesson for next time. Exactly. Exactly. As long as you don't like beat yourself up over that stuff, you'll be fine. It'll be really fine. I am currently loading the Man from Oma track, and it's a very heavy project, so it might take a minute or two to load. Honestly, at some point when I was doing what was it? Revisions on this track, it would take like, I don't know, 10 minutes to open or something. But hopefully it won't take that long. It's just that sometimes there's so much RAM that's used that it can't even read all the sounds. So it was interesting to work around that at the end. This year, I plan on going outside of my comfort zone and singing Blue Light because of how it relates to some of the struggles I go through. And I feel like it would be the best way to get stuff off of my mind. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it's a great way to put stuff out there. Not only that, but also it's a great way to build confidence. Because, like, um, if you manage to share your work, it's a great confidence builder most of the time because you're going to get good feedback. People are kind. The vast majority of people are kind. Even if, you would fear some stuff and whatnot, you're mostly going to get chill people around you to support your stuff, no matter what. And it doesn't mean that there won't be anyone to like bash you for no reason or stuff like that. But I feel like it's a great way to, yeah, become a better version of yourself. Not just musically, but also mentally. If it's too much, feel free to take another one. Nah, it's cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it. I really don't mind it. It's just I need to grab. Okay, I have it. I have it. There we go. Okay, the reason why it's so heavy is because there's a lot of shit going on, and there's a lot of layers that were added in with Ian Chris Trick, who did like a lot, and I mean a lot of work on the arrangement as well. So we are at like, yeah, 100 layers of whatever. Some of them are not used, so maybe more like 70 or something, which is still something. When you think like some tracks on the soundtrack are like 4 layers, it's kind of weird. Oh yeah, it's a big boy. Okay, let's check it out. As you can see on the top right of my screen, there's a little thing with like a percentage. And that shit is gonna go up and probably crash. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, yeah. That's not... it's a pastry? Hell yeah. So all the strings that you're hearing here, that's stuff that I and Chris arranged. Isn't that crazy? It's like... It's not even loading. See, like, that's what I'm talking about. You can only hear, like, organ right now. Oh, there you go. Nope. Oh, wait, you guys are not hearing? My bad, my bad. I messed up. Yeah. I'm kind of stupid. I thought I prepared every single track, but I didn't, because I'm kind of lame like that. Okay, let me fix that for you guys. Yoink. My bad, sorry about that, guys. There we go. That should work, right? Wait, not yet. There we go. Perfect. So you can still hear some stuff that's going on, right? Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, the man arranged so many things. Like, these strings are so cool. That's just the strings. I added a little bit of church organ in there to get the little creepy feel in the back. Percussion's going on. It's kind of crashing right now. The brass is hitting a bit. It's broken, dude. So that's what I was working with. Just a brass for fun. Just the vocals. I also added some choir. Ah, oh, dude, it's lagging so much. Let me try and close some stuff. It's not even loading anything, dude. Oh, right, I had some fun with the piano here. Just had like a nice little creepy piano lead. 100% Doom and Milfoy here. Delicious layers, Proc can handle it. It's too big, it's too large, what can I say? The strings were really fun in there. He added some really cool, like listen to that shit. It's like building up slowly. Oh, is it gonna work? Yeah. Oh, no. My PC cannot handle it. Kind of. He added some cool brass stuff as well. Like, can we hear it, please, program? Please work. I'm so sorry it has to be that way. Unfortunately, it's just what I've been working with for the past, like, month or something. Oh, well. What? Did it crash? Oh, no, there we go. Same thing, build up versus strings. What a cool build up, dude. It's so scuffed, man. I'm glad you guys are fine with it, but damn. Oh, okay, maybe I'll talk about this one part. Okay, where is it? So, on 2 different tracks, I tried to add like little sort of screams-ish in the back to have this sort of like demon-ish vibe going on. So this shit happens. Please work? Please work? Question mark? So this shit is just my own voice completely like crushed with saturation with look at this EQ, it makes no sense. Like please don't do this at home, you know? A bunch of OTT as well, so this is basically a saturation plugin, I think. Or overdrive kind of thing. It's dumb as hell. And yeah, I'm not gonna show you the thing without the effects because this is ridiculous. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I did that as well on the one of the bonus tracks, which was very fun to work around. But yeah, sometimes, you know, when you don't have the time to hire someone else, just do it yourself, I guess. To me, this one was a bit of an iffy one because it does add a bit of like crunch to the track, and especially when, you know, Vox's demonish forms gets on screen. So it adds a bit of impact, but at the same time, it kind of muddies down the mix. So it's a bit of a pro and con kind of situation. Oh, that section was fucking gorgeous. Vlad added some really clean string lines going on. I love this section a lot. Where is it? Please work? There you go. Hey, that melody is so pretty, dude. Added some choir on there. Piano as well. So one thing that I really loved that Ian did there is when you listen to just the strings, you have this melody that comes in, right? And then he does like a call and response with the brass section, which is right here. So same thing, you know? Same melody, switch instruments, it creates that call and response kind of thing. Such a smart way to, you know, add to the variation. Yeah, the vocals were really cool to work with. And funny enough, this is a plugin, it's software, you know? have like, you know, calm moment leading to that last moment where he's fighting Tokugawa, right? And then it all goes to shit. He starts slicing people, shit. The zoom in, yeah, you get it. Seems like my computer is doing okay-ish right now. Kind of. Main melody going on with the brass. The strings. And then you have the brass. Very heroic kind of thing, you know? When Tokugawa comes in, kind of like... I don't know, it just fits really well, and the fact that Ian didn't even have access to that information and still decided to go with that, I don't know, some people just have crazy good intuition, dude. It's crazy. No way, Twitter is making me send you the video in parts. Oh, that's okay, don't worry about it. I hope it's not too much of an effort on your part, so. You can always put it on like Dropbox and send me the link, or like Drive. That's what I meant. Like you can see it all happening in your head with the track. I'm glad. I'm really glad. Again, this one I want to be very clear. I did send a draft to Ian, but he did a tremendous amount of work on that. And would it be the strings, the brass and stuff, all of that, his ideas, he deserves credits for that. Let me just send again his stuff real quick. Where is it? Meow, 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 meow. Oh, you're here. Cool. Yoink. There we go. Yeah, no, you know, I don't know what's his plan exactly with, you know, life, studies, whatever, but I feel like he could easily score some movies at this point. I would not be surprised if he did eventually. Or if he already did, actually. I didn't ask. Maybe I should. Oh, there's more choir here, actually. More intense. Very forward vocals. Well, dipping out for now. It was a really good stream. Thank you so much. No, thank you for coming by. It was so fucking nice to have you guys around. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of talented people around. I saw someone talk about how it might be hard to hire an entire choir. Yes, that is true. It's kind of the same case than with an orchestra, right? So, realistically speaking, if you want to pay everyone properly, the budget would like implode. And it's not because people's rates are too expensive. Like, they're completely right for charging that price. It's just that there was, you know, obviously limits that we had to put on ourselves when it came to like making choices like that. And if we can already have choirs like this that sound decent, I think it was worth just going with that instead of like absolutely decimating the budget on just that. So yeah. I'm overall very happy with like the organization decisions that were made around that, because we were still able to afford like a lot of, you know, session musicians and stuff, but also, you know, had the chance to work around what I want to say, like other tools, right? Software stuff, samples at times, lots of layering, and I really don't think there's a shame in anything on that end, especially when you're able to like take something and develop that idea as much as possible. I know that there's sometimes a bit of a, how would I say that? It's not hate. It's not disdain either. It's just that like sometimes when you work around a lot of samples, people are gonna think like, oh yeah, He might be getting lazy and stuff, and that can happen at times, you know. I've seen a lot of people just like take one simple loop of something, just call it a day, and just add another loop of whatever on top. Yeah, of course, you don't want to do that. But if you add your own twist onto stuff, I feel like it's perfectly fine. There's a reason why, you know, people like Daft Punk are so beloved, right? It's, yeah, of course they take samples from many places, but they do cool shit with it. Yeah. No! Sony! Why? No! Thank you for the sub. Um, Again, when it comes to donations, subs, whatever, I'll make sure to grab all that money, either put it towards, I'm not too sure yet, either like some charity stuff, either I'll put it in the prize pool of a remix contest I'll organize in the future. But I'm lucky enough that I genuinely don't need that money to, you know, live. So I would be happy to put it towards something else. I never understood that. Like you're just using the tools to make your own thing. Um, I think it came by with like the explosion of people being able to do music. It's just kind of like AI, right? If you use AI as like how it's a simple tool for suggestion, I don't think it's a terrible thing. However, if you use it to create an entire work that you will then distribute or sell, that's fucked up. You don't want to do that, right? But some people do, unfortunately, and I think that's where the fear and the hate comes from, and that's fair. Like you don't want people to do that shit. It just kind of downplays the effort put into making a piece of music, a piece of art. Yeah, yeah. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel genuine. It's whatever. Thank you for all your. Thank you, Sony. I'll do my best in the future as well. It's a tool to help, not to entirely create something. Exactly. If your work is only made of samples that are unchanged, that's not gonna be good. And even then, I guess some people could argue like there's the arranging part, like the decision making and whatnot. And I guess that could be an argument, but I feel like that's a very rare case. Like you rarely see someone use only samples that are unchanged and do a great arrangement with that. Yeah, you need at least some of your own creative juices. Let me put a little BGM back again. There we go. There's a big difference between shortcut samples and doing your own thing or embracing plunderphonics. It's what you do with it. I have no clue what plunderphonics is, but I think I agree with you. The video has been sent in 2 parts because Twitter doesn't want me to send the whole video in one go. That's okay. That's okay. I'll give it a check as soon as possible. Thank you. That's also something I feel very lucky about. People doing covers of work I've had the chance of being part of. It's like, damn, people like this enough that they want to make their take, own version. Or they just like it, and they just want to have fun with it. Plunder, like pirate plunder? I don't even know what that is either. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, that's a difficult one. There's the moral side of things. There's the you know, moral ethics, but also the legal side of things. And it doesn't need to be illegal to be immoral. And that's the part that sucks, is that some things you just cannot stop. If someone is not interested in like putting out a very creative piece of work, then it's like, whatever, who cares, right? Oh, stealing. Oh, my bad. Okay, cool. I was tempted to use the English translation for the Latin, but then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stick with the... Yeah. I mean, both are fine. Uki is a great songwriter. It's just like, the amount of cool shit that Uki does is kind of wild. I'm just thinking about it, but he's probably one of the people that have released the most original songs in Niji Yen, right? There's like what? Deja Vu, Starlight Stargazer, Lunam. Wait, that's 3. Is there more? Yeah, massive respect to Uki. Great songwriter. 100%. I'm probably gonna be chilling in terms of questions, unless you guys have more stuff in mind. I can also look into more projects if you guys have anything in mind. But, or else, honestly, we can open up to anything at this point if you have questions about the line of work in general, or plans, or whatever. I don't really care too much at this point. I think we got into the harder things, showed a bunch of stuff, and that was really cool. Using a key sound and turning it into something else can be as inventive as using pipes and door slams to make a badass percussion section. Yes! Yeah. You don't... How did I say that? It's not because it exists already that it's a bad thing to use it. So from there you can be very creative with existing stuff. Just like you can be extremely creative by, yeah, using pipes and random shit. He is, when I first heard the song, I was like, oh no, he's turning me gay. Oh my god. The famous, what was the line? Heterophobia? Or something like that? That was funny as hell. I'm truly just interested in this, so I'd be fine with anything. Yeah, same thing. I mean, I'm happy talking about anything at this point. Do you ever question the choices you make when producing songs for a project, especially if it's for someone else? If you do, how often and how do you push through it? I think there's 2 options. If I question myself to the point where I don't want to share it to that person yet, it's just that it's not good enough. As simple as that. But I need to show that stuff to someone for them to like agree to it or not, right? So I doubt myself when I'm alone working on something, but the moment I send it, I don't doubt that it's like good or bad. If I send it, it's because I think it's decent enough to be shared. And if there's anything wrong going with it, it's probably mostly the direction. And that's not something I can control, so I stop the questioning at that. The moment I send it, it's like, okay, I've done a job that's correct enough that it can be shared with that person. And then if they have anything they want to share or change about it, they can tell me, and I'll be happy to do that. So I do question a lot of the choices, but again, once it's sent, I know that it's never going to be terrible. I'm confident about this much, at least. It's never going to be like absolute crap. Because I want people to be happy with what they get. His voice is just majestic? Yes. Uki's voice, like the low tone and stuff, the range. So fucking nice. That was a really cool dive in. Love to hear about your creative process. It's always interesting to hear about how different composers approach their sound. Huge otsu and congratulations again, Diego. Thank you, Lee. If you guys don't know about Lee, he's also a composer, producer, and whatnot. He is also great with strings himself. He is part of Utalive, which is a great music studio that does a lot of stuff for VTubers. Let me just put their stuff real quick. There you go. Utalive. And the fun thing about Utalive is that there's 2 other great people in there that do music. Daryl, that works a lot with people that you might know, like Iron Mouse, for example. And Mio, who's fucking fantastic with plenty of stuff as well. He worked with a bunch of Niji people on games like Demo. Like all of these people are great. So if you want to check them out, please do. Thanks for answering. No problem. I mean, I'm literally here for that. Speaking of Deja Vu, how exactly did you and Uki come up with the melodic instrumental? I mean, I can show you guys. Let's just show it. Fuck it. We ball. So Uki, as I said, is great with songwriting, which means he will come up with fantastic melodies and chord progressions already. So on my end, my role was mostly production, arranging, and whatnot. So composition is him. I just add in a little like sprinkle. Julia, who worked on The Demon Hungers, also worked on Deja Vu as well. Is it this one? Ooh, wait. wait. Okay, I need to rename a couple things, because that's not gonna go well. It cannot be showing now. Please work. Please work. If it doesn't work, just... I'm fucked. Anyways, I'll answer questions while it loads. Small question, not related to music. Do you pause your VODs from here on YouTube as well? I'm aware Twitch doesn't keep the VODs for very long, but I'd love to rewatch this. I don't really think about it in general, to be honest. But I do have like a secondary channel that I post stuff on sometimes. Let me check it out. Surely I can find it. Sorry about that. I'll try and find it. Okay, so on this channel, I have like some old VODs of like the remix contest reactions and whatnot. But yeah, maybe I can post a VOD for this, to be honest. I could. I'll try to post a VOD on this. Fuck it, we ball. But okay, please work. I'm just gonna put this on because I want to check if the music project doesn't show anything weird. A VOD for this would be great. Yeah, sure, I can do that. It should be available on Twitch for a while already, so that's gonna be cool. But yeah, perhaps I can put it on YouTube as well. Ooh. If possible, would you release an official tab for Deja Vu on guitar? Oh, I don't play guitar myself, actually. So I've never written a tab myself. I don't even write sheet music. I'm so sorry. But I think there's some people that have made guitar arranges of these tracks. So maybe if you check that out on YouTube, you can find some people who've done that. Okay, let's see. Sorry if it takes me a minute. Just want to make sure I do not fuck up everything. Okay, that's cool. Please work. Okay, I think we're safe. I think we're safe. Cool. Fuck it, we ball. Cool. Yeah, so how did it work? So basically what happens is that Uki's gonna... So that might be one thing that I cannot show, because I don't want to get in trouble or anything. But usually he's gonna send me a recording of like a simple vocal piano track, and that's it, with like the general structure, the IDs, the melodies, the chord progressions and whatnot. And from there, I'm gonna start working. So just in case, I'm not gonna show that part because, you know, that's personal to him, and I have not asked prior to that. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. There's some made from MuseScore. Ooh, yeah, maybe that could work out. Let's see. Oh yeah, I remember layering a couple pianos on this one just because I wanted to have like a nicer sound to it. It's kind of crazy because there isn't like too many layers on that. I'm gonna not do that. Oh, my bad. I did the same mistake again. So basically, just so you guys understand the dumb shit that I'm doing, I need to apply a little plugin here that I'm doing right now. Set it up. Each time I want to send the audio towards the stream thing, right? So now you should be able to hear something, right? I think. Okay, cool. And I think something cool to show would be the string section, actually. Oh my god, this is a mess. What a fucking mess. Let's see. Like, isn't that gorgeous? And that's Julia Stein doing some crazy shit again. Yeah. And it's funny because like there's a lot of instruments that are reminiscing of stuff I used for the Demon Hungers as well. Is it this part? Oh, it's this. See, you find the same very warm electric keyboard that I use quite a bit in the Demon Hungers. I think my favorite part is... Oh, this one, yeah. It's just like... Julia just... She went for the most like heart-wrenching strings in there. And you can just do like tiny bits of electric keyboard here and there to add that like extra intimacy and warmth. Because you can hear the mechanic noises slightly. And then you just add like the strings. It's so close, right? I like to not use too much reverb in general in tracks like that, because everything feels close and warm, right? Oh, that I had so much fun with. It's basically a software thing when I did some pinched violin strings. Playing the, you know, the main melody from Deja Vu, right? I'm terrible at singing, but it's just like tiny little details like that. It doesn't need to be super complex, but it adds to the feeling of it being genuine, question mark? Like it feels real. I don't know how to explain it otherwise. And then you go back to like the larger section. I did some choir on top. Wait, where is it? Is it this? It's very simple, 4-chord choir, as simple as that. But then you add in, oh, is this not working? Well, fuck, I guess. You add some strings. You add some percussions, but they're not working for some reason. But yeah, during the chorus, you usually have like percussion sitting. I don't know why. Maybe the project is getting old and some plugins are not working just fine. Again, the strings are just finishing with the violin solo. It's so fun to work around. But yeah, as you can see, it's not a complex track at all. Like, look, there's not even 25 layers in the thing. Probably like, yeah, 24. And for a song that is supposed to feel like a bit orchestral at times, it's really not that much. You don't always need to overcomplicate things for them to feel larger. Yeah, it's just so fun to work around. Each melody is dancing with each other. That's so fun to work around. Like rhythmically speaking and sound texture speaking. If you manage to have a sort of rhythm that completes another one or another melody or a counter melody, and you kind of stack that little by little, you'll have something that feels very full with very few elements. So you don't need to like do crazy shit for it to sound very full. Yeah. I've listened to it so many times, but it's nice to re-listen to it with all this new context and information. It I hope it's somewhat interesting, but I don't feel like I'm showing too much at the moment. But I hope it's somewhat interesting. I'll have to get back to it eventually. I'm glad I can make it. Hi, you and me. What's up? How you doing? I've got a piano sheet of this one. I struggle so much on this track. I mean, if you try to play just the piano part, I feel like you could handle it. Can't remember how to play it. Let's see. What's the chords for that? Yeah, I feel like you could handle it. There's some parts where you have several parts of like keyboard that kind of goes in between, so it's definitely harder. But I feel like to start, you could definitely handle it. Y'all did amazing. Thank you. It's because you already know the context. Yeah, probably. I guess for me, it's just like going back into something I've already kind of explored, but it's nice to go back to it. It's kind of fun, actually. Thank you. Honestly, it was super fun to work with the full team on that. Even this track right here, Deja Vu. Yeah, no. Uki, great songwriter. I don't know. I feel like every single person I've worked with in Niji EN on like original songs and original projects like that, they are all very invested in what they do. And yeah, it feels very good, you know, as someone who works in a creative field. Sometimes you gotta do stuff you don't necessarily like too much, right? And that's fine. It's just how it is. Just putting some BGM in the back again. But having these opportunities to work with people who actually care, it's like, damn. Okay, you guys are cool. Let's do some more, you know. But it's not to shame anyone who does like more, how would I say that, commercial focused projects, because some people do absolutely amazing work for, you know, big corpo or industries that have nothing to do with like very creative fields necessarily, right? And some people can actually make things interesting because they're so invested even in commercial projects. But yeah, I guess I have a bit more trouble. It's great to have that sort of stuff happen to kind of be like, okay, yeah, everyone cares enough about this to pop off, you know? Feels very good. Okay. Let me just do a last round of check with like notifications or whatever, see if I missed anything. But I think we pretty much went over the questions that I wanted to go for. Love how passionate people are? 100%. You know, people can criticize the VTuber sphere for whatever they want, and I'm sure there's absolutely valid criticisms here and there, but the amount of cool shit that people come up with is also insane. And it's only understandable given how much of it stemmed from the whole Utaite side of thing. You know, people who used to cover a bunch of stuff on YouTube before VTubers were even a thing. So just from there, music would have a big place in the VTuber sphere as a whole. Like, it just makes sense. But even then, it's very cool to see that sort of progression. I think some people were kind of sad to see like the Utaite community dying, question mark. But in the end, I feel like it led to so many more opportunities for people that did music, for people that did visuals, for people that wrote stories. Like, if we stayed at that era, you would still have like very underpaid freelancers that could never make a living out of what they do. So, is it making accessibility harder on some people? Yes, and that's the tough part, right? Because freelancers are starting to raise their rates a bit to what they should be. So obviously it's gonna be harder to get into things because there is a lot of free stuff you can use, but there's also a lot of very expensive stuff that people can't necessarily afford. But despite that, I still think this sort of era we are in right now is so good for creatives. It's so good. And COVID was a devastating, you know, historic moment, I guess. But it also opened so many opportunities for creatives. So as much as it was definitely a harsh moment for many, many people, it was also full of opportunities for others. Yeah. Okay. Damn. Why am I rambling about COVID now? Damn. Went from the demon hungers to COVID era. What the fuck am I doing? Yeah, I'm probably gonna take a break now and have some stuff to eat because I have not had dinner yet. So unless you guys have some questions in mind that you would like me to answer right now, I'm probably gonna dip out in a minute or two. It's almost like when people have the free time and energy, they produce incessant beautiful things out of their own volition. True. Very true. I would have not been able to do this as a job without COVID happening. So it was great to work from home, I'm not gonna lie. Rants and tangents are fun to listen to. I hope it's not too boring. Have a great dinner and evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. My pleasure, really. Honestly, it's great and very rewarding, I guess, to see people interested in the music side of things and whatnot. Like, I wouldn't expect that. I think people are very invested in the music side of things, yes, but not necessarily all the details regarding production and stuff like that. And that just shows that, like, people can build audiences that truly care, not just about the end result, but also the story behind things, the craft, the struggles, the cool things. Yeah. Go have some good food. I will. Appreciate it. Thank you. How about we find some people to raid? Because why not? Let me see. I'm still kind of a boomer with that, so oh shit, that's my stream. As you can tell, I am terrible at things. But yeah, we're figuring out stuff. Let me see. If I do this like that. Go get some food. I will. Thank you. Thank you for the call out. No, you deserve it. I know who you are. What do you mean? We've met. Listening to someone so passionate about their crafting is always so good. Right? I love watching like master classes and shit like that. It's always so fun. Thank you guys. I will try to put the VOD on YouTube as soon as possible, and I'll post that later on. Okay. I really appreciate it. Also, I don't think anyone I know is necessarily streaming right now, and I don't want to be awkward and raid some random person. Yeah, I don't really know these people. Fuck. I'll probably leave it to you guys to choose whatever stream you want at this point. But yeah, thanks again for sticking to more than 3 hours of ramblings about my shit. Ah, you guys are crazy. Okay. Again, huge thanks, of course, to Vox for, you know, allowing me to tell his story musically, I guess. For being a great director with things and just being so chill about the whole process. But of course, the full team as well. We have Pet on the strings, Ian Chris on orchestration, arrangement, and writing. We have Riemann on the vocals. We have Artem on the cello, Julia on the violin and viola. We have Dario on the flute, Jay on the clarinet, and the Unit Zero as an additional producer, songwriter. He's just fucking crazy. Anyways, thank you for everything, and you guys take care. I'll catch you guys sometimes. I don't know when. I'll figure it out. Take care.